Good morning, everybody. So
Instead,
I am
he has engaged in a relentless
we are
pursuit
listening to
of Donald
Pam
Trump's
Bondi's
perceived
testimony.
enemies. I want to
Before
focus on
Congress
just
right
one
now.
example. The Attorney General of my home state of New York,
So give me
Ms.
one
James.
second.
This DOJ has been hell-bent on securing an indictment against Ms. James for something, anything, simply because she held Donald Trump's companies accountable for years of
What's up,
financial
Dani?
fraud.
Good morning, Cheryl.
And indeed,
Good morning,
the
blessed and
department
grateful.
manufactured an investigation
folks.
against her for alleged, quote, mortgage fraud. But the U.S. attorney leading the investigation, Eric Siebert, a Trump appointee, refused to bring charges against Ms. James because there was simply no evidence. Unfortunately, a prosecutor who refuses to do Trump's bidding has no place in this DOJ, so Mr. Siebert was forced out. Trump could not contain his fury.
Good morning, Carol. Good morning.
Fury that he expressed to you in a social media post addressed to you by name. I'm sure you've seen it.
That's why I wanted to go ahead and...
I fired him, and there is a great case he wrote to you about, Mr. Siebert. Then we moved down. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now. And obviously, you followed that order.
Sherry. Good morning.
Lindsay Halligan, Trump's former defense lawyer who had never prosecuted a case in her life, was installed to replace Mr. Siebert, and it was clear that part of her mandate was to go after Ms. James.
Good morning, guys.
Halligan immediately sought an indictment, which the court dismissed because Halligan was illegally put into the role. But your department was undeterred. Not once, but twice, you tried to indict Attorney General James in separate courts. Both grand juries rejected you and refused to indict her. It is practically unheard of for a grand jury to refuse an indictment. In 2016, it happened in just 6 cases out of over 150,000 offenses.
Good morning, Brandy. Good morning.
And you had happened twice in the same week, in 2 different courts. That must have been humiliating. And now there are reports you are continuing to investigate her. The amount of resources that have gone into targeting Attorney General James, months of investigations, multiple failed indictments,
I'm going to put a banner up so that everybody knows what we're doing.
Since your own prosecutors told you that there's not enough evidence to support a conviction,
I have a short day today, but
it's clear that you were going after her simply because she held President Trump accountable and he wants to punish her. And she is just one name on a long list of Trump political enemies that DOJ is reportedly targeting. From Jerome Powell and Lisa Cook at the Federal Reserve to James Comey, numerous Democratic members of Congress, John Brennan, Jack Smith, Democratic officials in Minnesota, Chris Krebs, Miles Taylors, and more. And those are just the ones we know about. In contrast to these politically motivated investigations, grasping at something they can charge their enemies with, we now have concrete evidence of disgusting criminality revealed in the Epstein files. So I really have just one question for you. How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
So this is live, you guys.
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No, you're going to answer the question the way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people, but I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
me. Claiming my time.
The time belongs.
I think it's very interesting.
Claiming my time.
I think it's very interesting.
And you can reclaim
your time. He talks about they indicted. The president said they indicted him twice.
Mr. Chairman, please stop the clock and restore his time.
Okay, here we go.
Committee will get in order. The time belongs to the gentleman from New York. We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when you ask a question, the witness gets to answer. You may not like the answer, but she gets to answer.
The question was, how many of Epstein?
They don't like the answer, Chairman,
my time.
because it's honest. So he asked a 4-minute question.
Restore 45 seconds, Mr. Nadler, please, Mr. Chairman.
Answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Because you don't tell me anything.
We will give you a few more seconds. I said that already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I'm timing right now, Mr. Nadler.
All right.
My time. The answer to my question, how many of Epstein's co-conspirators has she indicted, is 0.
This is crazy.
You have been the Attorney General for a whole year, and your DOJ fired the lead prosecutor of this case, sat on evidence this entire time, and claimed falsely last July that there were no more leads. It took an act of Congress for you to finally release part of the Epstein files. And when you did, you included personal information about the victims
100%.
while protecting the names
Good
of
morning,
abusers.
Amy.
Time of the gentleman
None of
has
the perpetrators
expired.
were brought to justice, but enormous resources.
Time of the
dedicated to
gentleman has
pursuing Trump's
expired, and
It's
obviously
clear that under your leadership, the Department of Justice
there
no
was
longer
no
works.
question in there.
It works
Order
for
respond
Donald
to.
Trump. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.
May I answer?
I think our next questioner, Madam
It's
Attorney
way
General, is
too
going to give
much,
you time to
and,
respond to
Thank you, Chairman.
all kinds of things. So we will turn to the gentleman from Texas for 5 minutes.
Ms. Bondi, you go right ahead. Over here. The time is yours.
Thank you. First, he brought up the president saying they indicted me twice. They sure did. They tried to impeach him twice. And you, Mr. Nadler, were one of the leads on the impeachment. I was on the other side. I lived that with you. During impeachment, you said the president conspired, sought foreign interference in the 2016 election. Robert Mueller found no evidence,
That's
none,
not true.
of foreign interference in
statement is not
2016.
true.
Have you apologized to President Trump? Have you apologized to President Trump, all of you who participated in those impeachment hearings against Donald Trump? You all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. You know, all they want to do, all the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million. And Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over.
What does the
Dow
Dow
is
have
over
to do with all of
$50,000.
this?
I don't know why you're laughing.
The
You're a great
Dow
stock trader.
doesn't
as
have
I hear,
anything to do
Raskin.
with this.
The Dow is over 50,000 right now.
She called
S&P
Nadler
at almost
Raskin.
7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records.
This is-
Americans'
so
401ks
the
and
Republican-
retirement savings
The
are
Republican
booming.
member of the
That's
House
what we should be talking about.
actually
We should be talking
gave her
about
his
making
5 minutes.
Americans
So
safe.
she's just
We should be
rambling.
talking
for
about what does
5
the Dow
whole
have
last
to do with anything?
minutes
That's
right
what they
now.
just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan,
Committee will be in order.
Mr. Jordan, am I going to
Somebody
get an
in the
extra
gallery
45 seconds added
is
to my
going
time?
off.
Committee will be in order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas. Ms. Bondi, the Attorney General can respond.
Yes, Dr.
Thank you.
Sims, 100%.
The Dow has shattered
morning, Rob.
50,000 for the
The
first
Dow
time.
doesn't
This is
have
crazy.
anything to do
They said
with
it couldn't
the
be done in 4 years, yet
e-files.
President Trump has done it in
It's
1
wild.
year. National median rents have fallen to a 4-year low thanks to
She is
Donald
literally
Trump.
here.
That's why
She's
they
just
want to focus
she's
on
just
Epstein
doing
and our
talking
most
points
transparent
for
president
him for
in
for
the nation's
for a political
history.
campaign strategy.
The murder rate, as I said, has plummeted to a 125-year
just
low,
Wild.
thanks to Donald Trump. For an unprecedented,
And she's reading from it, just so everybody knows. She's reading from it. So there's a whole script of what fake ass information to put out.
Our live coverage of Attorney General Pam Bondi's testimony continues on C-SPAN 2, as we take you live now to the U.S. House here on C-SPAN, where members are considering debate rules covering
hold
4
on.
bills,
Now I have to
including
switch my
Republican
C-SPAN
voter
channel
ID legislation.
because they're
You're
moving
watching
coverage
live
to a
coverage of the
different
House here on
C-SPAN.
C-SPAN.
Hold on. Sorry, guys. I have to move to a different C-SPAN because they are switching her to channel 2. And so I'm going to go to channel 2 on C-SPAN so that you can hear her over there. Okay. Holy jeez. What in the world?
C-SPAN. Make up your own mind.
We needed that break. Yeah, probably.
Over the next hour or two, I want to apologize on behalf of my colleagues on the left. They're not all that bad, but they've got to put on a show. And I'm sorry that you have to go through that. And I would like to yield the last, I'd say 40, and 40 is 80 seconds. The clock says 40, but I've got 80 seconds since I was so rudely interrupted. And I'll give all 80 seconds to Chairman Jordan.
And I would just yield to the Attorney General if she has anything to add.
So do you all understand that this is part of the reason
I'm fine
why
to
when I
continue.
talked
Thank you,
about
All right, the chair now
people to
recognizes
impeach
the
and
gentleman yields
remove,
back. The chair
she's not one of
recognizes
them yet,
the gentlelady from California.
right?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would note that Mr. Nadler's question has not yet been answered, but I want to start by asking that out of respect for the American public and the Epstein survivors, some of whom, of course, are here today, that we can have a transparent conversation and get the public the answers they deserve. I want to briefly direct your attention to two documents I'm hoping we will put up on the screen. In the first, an individual emails Jeffrey Epstein asking whether a woman
Yeah, Tracy, I
identified
didn't
as
expect
M
anything different either.
was pro or civilian, and Epstein responds that she was a civilian, Russian, and fun. In the second email, Epstein writes to Steve Tisch about a Ukrainian girl, noting that she was, quote, a little freaked out by the age difference and stating that he would try to convince her not to return to Ukraine. He then instructs Mr. Tisch to call him, adding, I don't like records of these conversations. So I'd like to ask a straightforward question that really is neither a yes or no answer.
This is the
Do these
Pam Bondi
emails
testimony,
constitute
and
credible
it's
evidence,
happening
not
live in
proof,
Congress right
but
now.
credible evidence warning
So we're
further
going to listen to that
investigation
for a little
into
bit,
whether
and then
Steve
chat.
Tisch
Hey, Colleen,
was
good to see
involved in Epstein's criminal conduct.
you.
You think yes or no?
Remember, folks, to ignore.
I'm not going to play a
the
yes/no game with you, but I will
trolls and the
answer the
bots.
question to the best of my ability. As I said,
Good morning,
we will
Juliet.
look and investigate any case involving any victim. I'm not familiar. There were 3 million pages, of course, with that email. But of course, we will look into anything. The documents have been released, 3 million, the redacted versions. We left them open for all of you to come view. Have you? I believe you view them. If not, will you have some copies?
I'd like to.
But could I finish, please? I'm not being rude.
I only
please.
have 5 minutes.
No, yeah, and I only have 30 seconds based on your filibuster.
But you didn't give
Time
a yes or
belongs to
no
Juliet from
answer.
California.
So let me just go further. Director Patel testified in this committee room that there was no credible information indicating that
I don't think that she
Epstein trafficked
understands that
victims to
she
anyone
doesn't
else.
come off
And glancing
as
at
a
the documents,
strong,
that's not the case.
competent
In July,
attorney
your
general
department
with
issued
her
a memo
behavior.
stating that it had
Like
conducted
the
an exhaustive
grandstanding
review
is
of
actually
the Epstein
right. She's
files
crashing
and
out.
concluded that
Maybe.
no additional individuals would be charged. So I did go over
Yeah.
to the Department of Justice yesterday. I would note that 400 and all our 35 members are in the House, and there's 4 computers.
You guys don't talk
So,
to the trolls,
it would
please,
take
or the
many
bots,
months
either one.
to actually have the time. I
Yeah,
only had a
Christine,
few
she is
hours.
scared.
I think the
And she should.
transparency argument is really kind of a sham because it's not really.
Whoa. Did you have to
It
wait
is,
to get
it is not possible
Hang on.
to really go
Do you
in.
see her
I
trying to
did, however,
interrupt?
see a U.S. attorney information for the Southern District of New York indicating that there were additional
Exactly,
survivors
Big Debbie
and
D, because she is
probable
back into a corner.
co-conspirators. Other members of Congress have uncovered likely co-conspirators.
No, she's both,
whose
Sparky
names
the
were
Jew.
blocked
So when
out.
people get
Now,
really scared, they
the
come off like
Epstein File
that, right?
Transparency Act,
Good
which
morning,
all
Mr.
but one
Barrios.
member of this
Buenos
House
dias,
voted for, the
senor.
president signed, requires the department
So this is Zoe
to release
Lofgren.
everything except that
If you all aren't
it needs to
familiar
be
with
redacted
Zoe,
to
that's who
protect
that
the
is.
victims or an ongoing prosecution, which apparently there is none from the testimony
Right.
we
If
have
I'm
received.
the loudest,
I am concerned
I'm the one
that
telling the
this
truth.
act
Right.
has not been fully complied with. When Director Patel came to the committee, he admitted that up to 1,000 FBI agents had gone through the files and redacted President Trump's
He sure
name
did.
from them. And it's pretty clear that what has been transmitted from the FBI continues to redact President Trump's name, even
Correct.
though he is mentioned, thousands of times in these files. So I think the credibility of the department in terms of complying with the act has been damaged. And I think the department's credibility has been damaged in other ways.
Correct.
I think we all saw the horrible video of American citizens being killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis. And I think how the department has handled these cases
what I would love
raises a lot
for
of doubt about
Zoe
the department.
Lefgren to
State and
bring
local
up
police
at this
in Minnesota got a court order
is
to
the
get
Emil
access to the
Bovee
crime scene to
incident
be sure
and
evidence would be
Mr.
properly
Raveni
preserved
and
by
Mr.
federal
Raveni's
agents.
whistleblower
But they took
testimony.
the agents defied the court order, and in a
And
department,
that would be this would be a great place when we're talking
the
about
DOJ is not collaborating
when we are
with
talking
state
about
and local
the
law
credibility of the
on these
department.
homicides. So
That
I
this
really
would be a
think
great
that
place
is
to bring that in.
disgraceful approach
If you guys
to
are
the
not familiar
homicides
with
of
Mr.
American
Raveni
citizens,
and his
and,
whistleblower
really
case about the
does
DOJ
nothing
and
to
Emil
bring
Bovee
credit to
and
your
Bondi,
department. And Mr. Chairman, I would yield back.
Gentleman yields back.
It's astounding.
May I answer?
Attorney General can respond.
I find it interesting that she keeps going after President Trump, the greatest president in American history. And if they could maintain their composure, this isn't a circus. This is
Do
a
they know
hearing.
that the more that you
I
say a
find
thing,
it
it doesn't
interesting
make
she
it
keeps
so?
going after Donald Trump.
People
She doesn't
literally
say how much
laughed
money
in
she
the
took from
gallery.
Reid Hoffman, did you? And nor
Well,
did
Mr.
she
Chairman,
post
regular
anything.
order, please.
She
Regular
posted
order.
nothing on her X account, on her Twitter account during the Biden years.
Gentlelady.
And yet now all of a sudden,
question
she's
asked.
going after.
Committee will be in
point of
order.
There was no
Committee will be
question
in
asked of
order.
the Attorney General. She doesn't just get to say.
Good morning,
Committee will be in order.
I have a point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Committee will be in
Watch
order.
this.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlelady can say a
Crashing out
point of order.
hard.
When a witness attacks,
Not a valid point of order. You got to
She
state.
hasn't completed her point of order yet. Please let her speak, Mr. Chairman. Let's have some regular order
Got it.
here.
Regular order is you got to state the rule. And
I am trying to make a point of order that the witness,
What
without-
rule are you referring to?
without responding to a question, has attacked me personally. I think it's pathetic that she can't answer the questions and
First
instead
time
is
that
attacking
is not even
members
close to a
of the
point of
committee.
order. The gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized.
In August of last year, I sent a letter to the Department of Justice asking for assistance in seeking compensation for the town of Lac du Flambeau. Town of Lac du Flambeau is my district, and your office replied that it was an ongoing matter and unable to comment
You know,
on
the
it,
thing
which
that
I
I
understand.
want everybody
It's just
to
fine. I want to set
remember
this
is
up
that
just as a reminder. So 3
the-
years ago, it was
the
at this
world
time
is
of
watching
year
this. Jim
that
Jordan
4 roads
is the
were
chairman.
blockaded in the town of Lac du Flambeau, and the temperature was 25 below
This is
zero.
Representative Tom
People had
Tiffany.
to park their cars at a
He's
neighbor's place,
Wisconsin's,
take the snowmobile across the
Republican,
lake to get their
7th
car,
district.
and then be able to drive into town. There were people 80 and 90 years old that could not, were very concerned that they'd be able to get emergency medical services. And the perpetrators of this, the tribe out there, they demanded compensation from the town. I would call it extortion.
I think she
They
does
ultimately got
realize it, Mimi.
$600,000
And
from the
there's
town of
no
Lac du
righting
Flambeau.
the ship.
The unfortunate
she's
part,
just going
Mr.
all the
Chairman, is
way
that
in,
the
if that
Biden
makes
administration took the side of the perpetrators who closed those roads off. And the Biden administration made it clear to the town of Lac du Flambeau that
John, I think
we
the
are not on
world
your
is
side in
angry with
regards to
us.
this.
I don't think the
Fortunately,
world
there
is
was a federal
laughing
judge
at us.
that
I
said,
think the
no,
world
this
is
is
angry
wrong,
with
what
us
happened.
because
And
the
these
entire
roads should be
world is
left
suffering
open.
the
They should continue to be
consequences
left
of the
open.
actions of the
My
American
question
people.
to you is, are you willing to work with
Our
my
election has
office
impacted the
and
entire
with the
world.
town of Lac du Flambeau to further investigate this matter and seek compensation from the tribal government after their extortion of $600,000 from this little town in northern Wisconsin?
Congressman, you do a great job representing your district. And yes, we would more than welcome working with you, and we are familiar with that investigation.
Mr. Chairman, I would just add, we're highlighting these
Yeah,
miscarriages
her
of
demeanor
justice in the
changed
previous
because this is a
administration.
Republican member
This is
of
just another
Congress.
one of those small examples, no different than
That's why.
the Catholic Diocese in Richmond and many others that you have retold so many times. But here's another instance of what they did to a small town and nearly bankrupted them as a result of it. Fortunately, there
Yeah,
was a federal
John,
judge that
And
saw
5 other
through it
countries
and has
are
fixed it.
taking significant action
I want to move on
where
to
the
fraud
e-files are
enforcement.
concerned.
You've established a national fraud enforcement division.
For
Is
people
that
that
correct?
live in their
Madam
country.
Attorney
And I
General?
personally
Yes, Congressman.
love the way that France is coming
Has this
after
new division
Elon.
begun any investigations and getting after those individuals that have committed the
Yeah.
rampant fraud we've
France
seen
ain't
like
playing.
in Minnesota?
At all.
Well, it's not only rampant in Minnesota, it's rampant throughout this country. Much of it is in California, as you know, and other places. yes, we are working on it actively. Our criminal fraud division has been working on it. We are expanding that. It was the vice president's idea to come up with this amazing separate fraud division, which we are establishing and going nonstop,
What's
not
so
only
crazy
to
is, did you
expose
all
the
know
fraud
that in
in
2020,
Minnesota, but around the country, it's
I
taxpayer
believe
dollars
2022,
that have
2022,
been
2023,
from the American
we
people.
actually
We're
had
committed
a
to recovering that money
healthcare,
and holding those people
corruption
accountable.
and
Mr. Chairman, I would remind everyone here, why did this happen in Minneapolis? Why did federal law enforcement have to go to Minneapolis? Because of industrial scale fraud.
corruption.
It was
it
an
was
assistant
basically
United States
for healthcare
attorney that
monopolies,
said,
for
this is
healthcare
industrial scale
acquisitions
fraud that's
that were
going on
happening
in
that were
Minnesota at
leading
this point.
to
I sent a letter
fraudulent
to our
or
governor
antitrust
in
behavior.
Wisconsin.
Like we had a
we're
whole
right
task force
across the border
that
there.
was
My district is
developed
only 20
specifically
miles from the
for
city of
that back in
Minneapolis.
2022
And I
and
asked
2023.
him to open the books for a federal audit on food stamps and Medicaid. Don't you think it would be a good idea for every
Y'all don't
governor to
talk
do
to
that at this
Thomas.
point?
Sparky the Juice,
It
just don't talk
protects
to
the
him.
citizens, and I can't understand why that's not happening. And yes, I do think that's a great idea. It's happening around this country. And when our new division with Colin McDonald is established, it's established. When Colin is confirmed, he's amazing. I think you've met with him, you said, Chairman. When that is established, we're going to work on both sides of the aisle. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, she's
to
so full
stop
of shit.
fraud in every city, in every state, in this country. We will continue.
Because, you
to
know,
fight
the
for
reality
So you
is
would
that,
encourage every governor across the United States, after what we have seen
Laurent,
in Minnesota, what we almost certainly know is happening in other states,
because
you
it
mentioned
is,
California,
John.
you would agree that
It
every
really
governor
is.
should avail themselves of federal resources to make sure that this industrial scale fraud is rooted out to protect the taxpayers of the United States. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
I don't think that they understand
Mr. Chairman,
that
I yield
people
back.
are
Gentleman yields back. The
over
gentleman from Tennessee is recognized.
their talking points.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I'd like to
And that no
thank
matter
you for
how
holding
much
this
they
hearing and
say
holding
it,
it to the
the
proper
waste, fraud,
fashion
and
as you
abuse,
have.
people just don't believe
Secondly,
it
I'd like to
anymore.
thank all of the victims of the
You know, the
Epstein
blaming of
case who've
immigrants,
come here to
people don't believe it
attend this
anymore.
hearing,
Like
for
they're
doing it, for
literally
being brave,
losing
trying
ground
to move this
day
justice
by day by
forward.
day, and it's
Apologize,
reflected in our
I
special
Attorney
elections.
General not recognizing it. That's embarrassing. I am from Memphis, General Bondi. And
This
Memphis
is
does have the
Representative Steve
task force
Cohen,
there.
Democrat
Memphis
from
Safe
Memphis.
Task Force has been operating in Memphis for several months. And we do have a Democratic Mayor, Paul Young, and he's not against the task force, but he is against ICE being in Memphis, and he's not in favor of the National Guard being in Memphis. And I concur with him on those positions. I think the DEA being there, the alcohol, tobacco, firearms, the FBI, who have been in Memphis in other ways, having more people there is good for Memphis.
Hey,
Crime has gone down in Memphis.
the Black
but it went
tribe,
down
you'll end up being
25%
muted if you
before
continue
the
with that
task
type
force
of
got there
language.
under the direction of
Okay.
Mayor Young and Director Davis, Chief Davis. It's gone down about 15% more since then, and that's good. But I would like to comment that Mexico City's homicide rate has gone down 40% during the same time when Memphis has only gone down 25%. And that's not necessarily because of the task force, although the mayor says he thinks it's helped. So I thank you for that. You would agree, I presume, that violent crime in communities across our country is critically important, and that's why the task force is there. Is that not true?
Yes, and if I can just add to that, I think the surge, the FBI, our FBI under the leadership of Director Patel came in and did a surge in Memphis.
Earlier.
Prior to the task force.
If I-
And thank you for saying that about Mayor Young. He's been great to work with, and thank you.
He's a good guy.
He's a very good guy.
One problem I've got with where we are in priorities here.
It doesn't.
A recent Department of Justice, National Institute of Justice
So
report
let me
based on
just say
arrest
this,
records
Mario.
in Texas and in California
shouldn't
found that
surprise
undocumented
anybody.
immigrants
Listen,
were less
if-
than
and I
half
keep
as
saying
likely
this,
as
you all,
U.S.
but
born
if
Americans
the
to be
people that
arrested for
voted
homicide.
for
And this pattern
Donald
holds
Trump
for
to become the
assault,
president
sexual
of the
assault,
United
robbery,
States,
burglary, theft,
cared
and arson.
whether or
Half as
not
likely to be
he
arrested for drug
was an
offenses.
SAer
So
or
I
a
ask you,
rapist.
and I've
He
written
would
to
have
you about
never
this.
been
There are TV
reelected.
ads that run that say
Period.
to local law enforcement.
He would have never been
specifically,
elected the first time
are
in
you tired of being
2016
having your hands
if they actually
handcuffed?
cared.
Because
That's
you can't
not
do
a
the things you
deal
wanted
breaker
to
for
do when
them.
you joined. And if you want to do something different, join
I
ICE.
just need
You'll
for
get a
people to really
$50,000
grasp
bonus
that.
and we'll pay your
Being an
pay off your
SAer,
debts,
being
student debts, and we'll
someone
help you
who,
pensions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
who
So they're
abuses
encouraging local
or
law
commits
enforcement
an
to
act
leave
against
local law
women
enforcement
is
and go
not
to
a
work
deal
for ICE.
breaker.
We
If it
need
was, he
people
would have
working
never
in
been
the front
elected in
lines of local
2016.
law enforcement to protect our citizens from the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst are not the immigrants. The worst of the worst records show are native-born Americans.
Correct.
And they are committing crimes that hurt our citizens and our cities. And you're working against it. And thank you for that. But by trying to get our local law enforcement, where we have an undercount of officers in Memphis, to leave Memphis and go to work for ICE to deport people is a wrong priority. Why are we trying to get people?
I think it's a
policemen
combination.
who are
So it's
working on
not
the
one
front
or the
lines
other,
to
whether or
leave
not
the front
people
lines,
care or
take
whether
the
or not they're
$50,000
apathetic
and go to
or
work for ICE,
whatever.
and
I
instead
think,
of working
to
fight the worst of the worst.
to admit who he
Congressman,
is,
I have not yet seen that
you would
commercial,
have to
that
come
ad.
face to face.
I would argue that
with
we need strong
that's
people
who
in
you
both
are. You are
local
someone
law
that chose
enforcement,
to vote
state
for
law
someone
enforcement, and
like
all
that.
of our federal
And so you got to
agencies
understand that people aren't
working
going to want to do that,
together. I've
right?
seen some of
People
the worst
do not
of the
want to have to
worst
say, yes,
violent
he is that,
criminals,
because what does that say
violent
about them?
criminals
That
who
they
are in
voted
this
for
country
someone
illegally.
who is that.
We both know that.
And so
And in
sometimes
Memphis,
it's not about
working
supporting
hand in
him.
hand, I
It's
want to
about
stick
not
with
wanting people not
Memphis
wanting
and
to
your
face
mayor
who they are
and what
themselves.
you discussed, because there have been nearly 6,000 arrests as of February 8th, and I think you agree with this, in your district, and almost 600 gang members. What we found in Memphis, a lot of the gangs are local gangs. But 600 gang members were taken off the
time because I've only 148. I'm going to agree with you. I thank you for that.
And 148 missing children were recovered by all of us working together, and nearly 1,000 illegal guns were seized as a result of us working together.
And I don't disagree with some of the things you said, but there are questions about those children, but it's a different thing. The fact is, ICE is running rampant and you are not investigating them. When they killed Mr. Prete, and Miss Good, that was an execution, and you did not investigate it. And you tried to investigate Miss Good's widow, and you tried to investigate Mr. Prete. They were executed like Christy Nome executed her dog, and that was wrong. And you should investigate those people, and you should investigate anybody that uses a weapon, in federal official or not, for civil rights violations. I yield back.
Councilman yields back his time. Madam Attorney General, anytime you need a break, just let us know. If not, we'll just keep going. The chair is now recognized for 5 minutes. Madam Attorney General, you're not allowed to exercise your constitutional rights in a way that tramples on someone else's, are you?
No.
No, you can't do that. I mean, you have a right to petition the government under the First Amendment. That doesn't mean you can come into this room and start screaming at Mr. Raskin or me or anybody else and disrupt a congressional hearing. You have a right to protest on the street, but that doesn't give you a right to go into the Capitol and disrupt Congress. Something these guys talk about every day. You can't do that. So when Don Lemon said that he was exercising his First Amendment free press rights, freedom of the press rights, that's not really accurate because he was trampling on other individuals' rights. Is that true?
Except he wasn't.
Chairman, we will always protect our churches and the freedom of religion. And yes, that's accurate.
First right mentioned under the First Amendment,
Right.
freedom of religion,
So
freedom
the
to practice your
problem is
faith the way
he
the good
wasn't
Lord wants
shutting
you
down
to,
service.
right?
That's
He
right,
wasn't
under the
preventing
federal
people
And isn't
from
it true that Mr.
doing
Lemon
service.
met at a shopping center with the rioters who entered City's church in St. Paul, met with them prior to marching to the church?
He did meet, and this is a pending case right now, so I will only stick to what is in the four corners of the unsealed indictment, if I could, Chairman.
Yeah, I'm
There's a lot more that will come out.
right.
Under the
Rioters
four
is a
corners
wild
of the
thing.
indictment, yes, he did. They had an operation called Operation Pull Up. They said they were gearing for a resistance. They met in a parking lot and they caravanned to a church on a Sunday morning when people were worshiping together.
And Mr. Lemon said that
Morning
he
Nation.
live streamed before entering the church with the rioters. Didn't he say we're going to head to the operation? Didn't he say this he said this on camera? Is that right?
Yes, Chairman,
Yeah.
and more.
That he was in Minnesota and that, as you said, they were gearing up for an operation. So you can't do that. This is why this is, I think, so important that this guy be held accountable. And I think why you guys have charged him
and it
and
is supposed to be
guided him.
DOJ
Just like a subject
oversight.
here.
And so that is
John Brennan
why
be indicted.
he's bringing this up under that
Mr.
umbrella.
Brennan lied.
Yeah,
to
this is
the
Jim
committee.
Jordan speaking.
You're not supposed
I
to
assumed
do.
everyone knew
Last
this
Congress,
voice.
when we
Sorry.
deposed him, he definitely 18 USC 1001. We're all familiar with it. He lied to the committee, and the Congress, I think the country would like to know if in fact he's going to be indicted for lying. And here's why it's so important. I'll give you a chance to respond. Here's why it's so important. It wasn't just that he lied to us, it's what he lied to us about. He lied to us about when all this weaponization against the President of the United States started. He lied to us about the dossier, and specifically what role the dossier played in the intelligence community assessment. Because we know back when President Trump was first elected, first term, this is when it all started, which led to the Mueller and to the impeachment and to the Jack Smith and all the stuff that's happened in the last decade. But it began here, and he lied to Congress about the role he played. And I just want to read a couple of things he said during that deposition before I give you a chance to respond. Mr. Brennan, when asked the question, said the CIA was not involved at all with the dossier. He said it was their purview, FBI's purview, and not ours. He also said the CIA was very much opposed to having any reference or inclusion of the Steele dossier in the intelligence community assessment. Well, that's interesting because declassified information that was declassified this past summer by the CIA says something entirely different. It says, Brennan, I want to put this one up if we have it. It says, Brennan ultimately formalized his position in writing, stating that, quote, this is released by the CIA Director Ratcliffe. My bottom line is that what I believe that information warrants inclusion in the report. He was further asked by an CIA official. The same officer said when he approached the director and asked and that the director refused to remove it after being explained this wasn't good. With the dossier's many flaws, he said, yes, but doesn't it ring true? So this is John Brennan using that document to change intelligence community assessment, which I think led to all the stuff we've seen over the last decade.
To the church.
And I think this committee,
I do remember Trump saying he would lead the crowd to the January 6th. He'd be going to January 6th with the crowd.
Is going to be indicted.
Yeah, he did say that, Tracy. You are correct.
What I can confirm is that we have received a referral from you, Chairman Jordan, to investigate John Brennan. His attorneys have made some public statements. But the department is still bound, of course, by our longstanding policy of not discussing matters. What I will say today, I can't confirm nor deny whether there is a pending investigation, but what I will say is no one is above the law.
Mr. Chairman.
Weaponization has ended.
No one is above the law.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
She's so crazy.
Gentleman from New York is recognized for a point of order.
If we want to know whether Mr. Brennan will be indicted, you should just ask the president.
Not a point of order, but I appreciate that.
He said, if you just want to know, ask the president.
The gentleman from Georgia is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Bondi, it's been reported that there were at one point 1,000 personnel assigned to the task of identifying and scrubbing Donald Trump's name.
The 4th district.
Were those reports accurate?
I believe his name has appeared countless times in the document
how
that
many
have
people were
been released.
assigned?
If I could finish, I'm going to read you the stats.
I just simply asked whether or not it was true that it was 1,000 folks who were assigned that task. Were those reports accurate?
There are more than 500 attorneys and reviewers. I cannot give you an exact number.
And I wanted to ask you about that also, because this is a different question that you're getting to now.
The way that she filibusters.
DOJ lawyers and others assigned the task of redacting the appropriate information, including identities of the Epstein victim survivors from the Epstein files prior to their release. 500, is that correct?
If I could have finished my answer, there were more than 500 attorneys and reviewers who assisted with the.
That answers my question, ma'am, and I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on.
Yeah, 24/9.
Would you agree?
Time belongs to the gentleman from Georgia.
General Bondi, would you agree that your 8 years of service as the state of Florida's Attorney General, the third largest state in the nation, served as an excellent preparation for your current role as Attorney General for the United States of America?
Shit. That's a setup
Not
question.
only that, I was a career prosecutor for 18
18
years.
That's a setup
and
question,
for
you guys.
18 years.
And for 18
prior
years,
to being-
for 18
He
years,
asked a question and doesn't want
prosecuted-
an answer. This is
Well,
theatrics.
well, no, for 18 years, you
on.
prosecuted serious felony cases, including drug cases, correct?
Oh, I prosecuted homicides. I prosecuted capital cases. I prosecuted domestic violence cases. I prosecuted multiple cases, and that's why I feel for all of these victims. And did you ask Merrick Garland this?
Right,
when
Don
you were
Juan.
sitting
You
before
also
him, sir?
prosecuted sexual assault cases and child sex trafficking cases, correct?
Yeah, Amy. 100%. This is why I didn't do it yesterday.
I answered that question earlier. I prosecuted
All right.
multiple
Well, you're,
cases
so
when I
bottom
was
line,
a prosecutor.
bottom line,
I can
you're an
answer the question.
experienced and
For
seasoned.
18
You're an
years.
experienced-
Mr. Chairman, will you remind her of the rules? The time belongs to the member of the committee.
You
I
are a
think I've said that a few
seasoned
times.
and experienced prosecutor, correct?
I think we've established that.
Yes or no?
Does he want an answer or not?
He wants a
When I
He wants a
answer-
yes or no.
answer.
I think he wants to say
Well,
maybe.
yes
I-
or no
I
answer,
can-
but
yeah, I can
I'll
explain
live
my
with what you
experience. I'd
have
be
already
loved to
said.
explain
Let
my
me ask you,
experience.
let me ask you this questions.
Clearly,
In
you
the
don't have any.
prosecution of sexual assault cases, you are acutely aware of how important it is to protect the identity of victims of sexual assault, correct?
I have addressed this multiple times. I think others were cutting me off when I was trying
Well,
to.
I just simply asked, are you aware of the fact that it's vitally important to protect the identity of sexual assault victims as you prosecute the people they accuse
So-
of assaulting them? Isn't that correct?
Excuse me. As we have said multiple times,
Protection of the
protection of
identity
all victims
of the victims
are
is so
protected.
very
You are
important.
protected under, do you want me to answer or do you want to interrupt?
Well, because you're not answering the question, you do a Jekyll and Hyde kind of routine around here. And I just want you to answer my
Not him
questions.
saying Jekyll
What
and
does Jekyll
Hyde.
and Hyde mean? Can
Well,
you
it
explain
means
that?
you're nice to the
Explain that.
Republicans and you turn like Hyde on Democrats. But let me ask you this, ma'am. We have the Epstein victim survivors here today. Representative Jayapal asked a simple question. If you would be so kind and honorable as to turn around and face them, apologize to them for outing them. I mean, how
Ask her to apologize.
many lives have been derailed?
The same
because
way that
your
she said they should
department was either
apologize to Trump. This
sloppy and
is
incompetent
Hank Johnson.
or willfully trying to intimidate and punish these ladies
Your time is
coming
up.
forward?
Not this
Well,
bitch.
was it?
I'm
The time
sorry.
of the gentleman has expired. The gentleman yields back.
Not
The chair
her
now
saying the
recognizes
time, your
gentleman
time
from
is up.
Wisconsin
I
for
can't.
5
Sorry.
minutes.
I just, it came
Attorney
out real
General
quick.
Bondi,
Sorry.
my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have spent the past several months attacking the administration for doing exactly what the American people wanted when they overwhelmingly elected President Trump. Securing our border and enforcing our
This is
immigration
Mr.
laws.
Fitzgerald.
I find it a bit ironic because this is the same party who just a few years ago were openly supporting strong immigration enforcement after witnessing criminal illegal aliens wreak havoc on the American communities. I have a short video I just wanted to play.
Of immigrants. We're also a nation of laws. Undocumented workers
Not him
broke
playing
our
a
immigration
video of
laws,
Obama.
and I believe that they must be held accountable.
They've committed a crime, deport them. No questions
And Hillary.
asked, they're gone.
No great nation can be in a position where they can't control their borders.
We need to address the issue of immigration and the
Here's
challenge we
Nancy.
have of undocumented people in our country. We certainly don't want any more coming in.
Every place in this country are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why
I
our
don't think
administration
that
has moved
people
aggressively to
understand that
secure our
no
borders
one
more
loves Bill.
by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many
Right?
criminal aliens
I
as
don't
ever
think
before,
they understand
by
that
cracking down on illegal
people
hiring,
don't
by
love
barring welfare benefits to illegal
Bill.
aliens.
illegal immigration is wrong, plain and simple. When we use phrases like undocumented workers,
what people,
we
so
convey a
let me be
message to
clear,
the
you
American
guys.
people that their
Bill
government is
Clinton
not serious about combating
was
illegal immigration.
the rhetoric that
which
they
the
used
American people
for Bill Clinton
overwhelmingly oppose.
was
If
so
you don't
that
think
he
it's
could be
illegal, you're not gonna say
elected
it. I think it is
and
illegal
Democrats
and
could
wrong.
take back the administration, take back Congress. Yeah, girl, Bernie too.
And you're gonna have people from all over the world. And I don't think that's something that we can do at this point. Can't do it.
Yes or no? Would you allow those cities to ignore the federal law?
No. We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country.
Yep.
So Attorney General Bondi, what's the Trump administration DOJ doing to end the open border policies of the prior administration?
There have never
that
been
saw
open border
dangerous
policies.
drugs and criminal aliens.
We've
flood
never had
our
open border
communities.
policies. It's just not true.
Congressman, President Trump has worked tirelessly, as you know, to close our border.
Like
which
it's
is
just
what the
not a
Democrats had
thing.
asked
Like it's
for in
just
that
a
video.
flat out fucking
President
lie.
Trump closed
We've
our
never had it.
borders on day one. He is protecting Americans. He is protecting our kids from the influx of drugs that were flowing into this country from Mexico, the fentanyl precursors that were coming from China.
I thought they were
These
coming from
precursors were
Venezuela,
taken from
Pam.
China into
I
Mexico.
thought that
And in Mexico,
ethanol
they were
was
mixed
coming
and
from Venezuela.
taken right into
Ain't that what
our
they told
country,
us, y'all?
along with
I thought
gang
that
members,
party
MS-13,
favor was coming from
TDA,
Venezuela.
Really coming into our cities around
Not the southern
our
border, Pam.
country.
Which is it?
Thanks to
Is
Joe
it
Biden's
Venezuela or
open
not?
border policies.
And now
That
you
was
said
stopped
China.
under Donald Trump. It will no
I'm just
longer
wondering.
happen
And can we
under
talk
this
about
administration.
who brings them
And
across
he's
the
doing
border?
everything
88% of the time, the people
safe.
that
And
bring
let me continue. When
those
he was
party
elected
favors across the
overwhelmingly by
border
the American people,
are
the
American
majority
citizens.
of the American people
I just want to be
wanted
very
Donald
clear
Trump.
about that,
One of the main
right?
reasons was
The
border
people that
security and
bring
keeping
those
Americans
party
safe.
favors
And that's
across the
exactly
southern
what he
border
did. And
are
that's why
U.S.
today
citizens.
The other side sits here.
More than
they yell,
85%
they
of the
cut
time.
me off. They want to yell. They want to ask a question.
Just to be
They don't
clear
want
about that.
answers because
And
they
that
want to
comes from the
distract
Department of
from
Homeland
all the great
Security's
things
own
that this
website,
president and
their
this
own
administration
information, their
working
own facts,
hand
and
in
their
hand,
own
and that
data.
includes Secretary Noem, who
So,
has closed our borders,
like,
and Tom
that's
Homan,
just-
who has
that's just the
closed our
fact.
borders to keep Americans safe. And they're trying to
Right?
distract from that, and they're not going to do it because the American people are smarter than that, and they see
They
through
are
their
smarter than that,
theatrics.
and that's why.
Thank you.
Salam
Just
Abdul,
quickly,
that is why
yesterday, Senator Grassley
the
reached out
president's
to my
phone numbers
office to tell
suck.
me that I was one of the 20 members that was now disclosed were under surveillance from Jack Smith. This brings up the question of non-disclosed orders and whether or not they should apply to members of Congress. But with my phone records being surveilled as well as looks like 19
They
other
still
members
mad
of
about them
Congress,
no
just
content
wondering
call
how
logs.
DOJ views that.
Time is gentleman's expired, but the gentlelady can respond.
As I stated earlier, Congressman, anyone's
They
records
so
who
mad
are
about them
illegally
damn
obtained,
no
Democrat
content
or
call
Republican,
logs,
we will
y'all.
fight vigorously to
They
stop
shook
that.
as fuck.
Anything with Arctic frost, I can't discuss right now.
And isn't it true, Madam Attorney General, the DOJ's changed their policy? You can't do that now. The DOJ's not gonna go do that and ask the judge for an NDO.
Do you all know?
That in and of itself tells you why this.
So here's what
Chair now
happens.
recognizes the gentleman from California.
The reason they are
Madam
freaking the
Attorney
fuck
General,
out the way they are right now
acknowledged earlier
is
to Mr.
because
Johnson
the
that
Republican Party
President Trump was
continues to
mentioned
lose seats
and
after seat
at
after
least
seat in
countless
every
times
special
said
election
in the
that we've
Epstein
had
files.
since the presidential
I just
election in
want to play a video
2024.
though for you that I think speaks
When
to the
that
frustration
shows up, and that
many of these
continues to be the
victims have.
case in November,
Times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not
But the
released
number at least
anyone's
be 1,000
name
times.
that, we have not released anyone's
But it
name
would
in the
at least
Epstein
be 1,000
files that
times.
has not been credible.
Director, could it at
We have
least be
released
1,000?
Falwell
every
is
piece of
playing the
legally
clip of him
permissible
questioning Patel.
information.
Okay,
You can
so
characterize the numbers however you want it.
claiming my time, Director. It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times. Which
It's not.
leads me-
It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No,
Is it at least 100 times?
no.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number.
You don't know the number, but you
I
know it's
understand why
not
the victims are
500.
frustrated. And the Attorney General acknowledged what Mr. Patel would not acknowledge, that it was way more than 1,000 times. But I want to move, Madam Attorney General, to weaponization of government. And yesterday it was reported that 6 members of Congress had indictments sought against him, and they were not returned by a grand jury. My colleagues have spoken about their frustration of being in subpoenas and having cell phone records combed through. Well, in 2017 and 2018, Adam Schiff and I had our cell phone records and email records combed through, not by you, but a different Department of Justice under the president. It was in retaliation for our role in the Russia interference campaign. An Inspector General report would find this improper and that the predicate for it was absurd. In 2020, after sitting on 2 committees that were a part of the president's first impeachment, an FBI agent leaked my cooperation in a national security case where my campaign was targeted.
I'm going to run this down for just a second. Good morning, Lois. Okay,
FBI
so
senior leadership
listen,
authorized
one of the reasons why you see Pam Bondi
I was never suspected of
acting
wrongdoing
the
and
way
only
that she
helped
is
the
acting,
investigation. But that didn't stop the death threats or my GOP colleagues
if
from referring
you
me
all
to
have
an
ever
ethics
seen
investigation
a
where Kevin
dog that
McCarthy's
is
chairman
cornered
on the ethics committee would
and
find the
is
same
absolutely
thing as the FBI.
terrified, and they are just
current
right? And it's like, damn, that's a mean ass dog. No, it's a scared dog, right? It is a scared dog. And that is what you see in Pam Bondi's behavior. Because here is what they understand. They understand that they continue to lose every single election that we've had since 2024. They also understand that as soon as there is a Democratic majority in the House and in the Senate, she will be impeached. She will be removed, and then she will be prosecuted. Like, they understand, let me just be clear, they understand that their lives are on the line. They are on the line because they will be prosecuted and they will be imprisoned. Steve Bannon understands that. He said it to everyone. Pam Bondi understands that. Kristi Noem understands that. Stephen Miller understands that. Russell Vought understands that. All of them understand that that is what is at stake. And this is why I want everyone to really come in this moment with me. Come in this moment with me. That in less than 10 months, we are going to be on the downside of this shit. In less than 10 months, we will be on course to get rid of this corrupt shit in our government, right the ship and move it forward. And that includes establishment Democrats who don't want to get their shit together. Case in point is New Jersey. And what you just saw in New Jersey, in the Democratic primary in New Jersey, what you just saw was a progressive populist Democrat win the primary over an establishment Dem. And the reason you did is because that establishment Democrat, right? That establishment Democrat has now said, oh, well, maybe we should put restrictions on the things that we send to Israel, right? And so what did that do? That made AIPAC and their PAC spend a shit ton of money advertising against the establishment Democrat, right? And so as a result, the progressive populist Democrat won the primary.
Something I would be happy to talk to you about.
They don't understand that people are tired of the establishment all across the board, and they don't want it anymore.
And I can give you more
people want public servants in office that are going to represent the people.
Should be threatened.
They are ready for that, and they're no longer buying into your fear tactics.
Come into my office any day. I will work with all of you on both sides of the aisle.
You can't scare people anymore. They listen to the president of the United States right now say, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't come in carrying guns." What? What do you mean? They listen to the current president of the United States attack their Second Amendment and say, no, you can only bring them where we say you can, and it doesn't matter what your state law is. And if you show up, you can be executed by ICE, and it's okay.
Thank you, Chairman.
Good morning, Barbara.
I don't know where to begin. Thank you for being here, General. Right, see me, I'm right in front of you. I have to mention this first. You know, I used this word before in my friends on the other side of the aisle got mad at me, but hypocrisy.
This is Representative Jeff Van Drew. He's a Republican from New
But
Jersey.
for years on the other side of the aisle, we heard nothing. Crickets, not a word.
Morning, Big
Nothing was
Daddy.
said
Morning,
when they were in
Senator.
control. Nothing was mentioned basically the last summer, and the ranking member points out that he did do something last year.
So-
Yeah, he did a letter complaining about the plea deal for Maxwell, but it wasn't a big deal. Then we get a new administration, and all of a sudden it's a big deal, and they feign concern, they're upset, they're investigating. They had all these years and all this time, and in fact, Stacey Plaskett.
So
you all know
when
that
we are
name,
talking
when they had
about-
a congressional hearing. Democratic
So let me
member
be clear. So I'm a person who loves to go back
from Epstein
to
on
the
questions
beginning.
to ask
Okay.
to go after
And
Trump.
if we go back to the
Epstein was
beginning
using her,
of the very
Democratic
first
colleague, as a
time,
tool to go
we
after
really
President
had
Trump.
an
Just everybody keep
opportunity
that in mind. And then we
to
talked about
prevent
ICE and how horrible
and
it
to
is, and
stop
there are concerns. Everybody
the
wants
activities of
everything to go
Jeffrey.
right. Nobody ever
You can go all the way
wants
back
see
to
somebody
2006
die.
and 2007 to do
And they
that.
complain about it. But at the
And
same
what you have
time,
to understand, and
hypocrisy,
I went
they
through
encourage
this, we were listening to
constituents
Pam Bondi
to go
testify
after the
before
ICE
Congress.
agents,
So you have to
to challenge them,
understand
to hurt them,
that
to attack them.
the people who were
And that doesn't
involved,
make sense. It's
they weren't even
hypocrisy.
going
And
to
then we hear about the
prosecute Jeffrey
concern of,
back
you know,
in
going after
2007.
Democrats, that the legal system,
They weren't
the
going to do that.
judiciary and
Do you
Department
all
of
realize
Justice
the
is
only
going after
reason there was
Democrats,
a federal
but
investigation
they will
into
literally
Jeffrey in
rework the legal
2007
system
is
under
because of
Alvin
the
Bragg
former
and
Palm
Letitia
Beach
James
police chief?
to go after Republicans and those
That's who
sympathetic
it
to
was,
Republicans. So,
right?
I mean, be careful
So
when you accuse
that
others
the
that
former
you're
Palm
not
Beach
guilty
police chief
yourself.
is who
Be careful
took
what you
all
say.
of the
If you got a
information,
history,
all of the
and it's easy to
witnesses,
go over.
all of the evidence,
You know, I just want to
and
talk
he
about where
took
we
that
were and where we are now.
to the
We had over 10
federal,
million
the U.S.
illegal
Attorney's
crossings
Office,
in the past
and he
between
took it to the
2020 and
FBI.
2024. Over 10
And
million.
he
It's probably
did
a much
that
bigger number. I'm being
after the
conservative.
Florida
We were
State
told that
Attorney's
people weren't
Office
dangerous,
refused to
but they were,
prosecute
General. They were
and wanted to
dangerous,
do a
and they were
misdemeanor.
more than 300 individuals on
Right?
the terror watch list during that
So
time.
she wasn't,
Violent
Sparky,
criminals
no, she
came
wasn't.
across, as we
So
saw
Pam Bondi did
consequences
not
where
become the
mothers and
Attorney
fathers,
General
daughters and sons and children
until
were raped,
2010.
murdered,
So no, she
hurt,
wasn't. I
abused,
just want to be
beaten,
clear. Pam
trafficked,
Bondi was
on
not
drugs.
the
My
Attorney
God, the
General
drugs
at the
they
time
brought
that
into our
plea deal
days
was
in this
done.
country.
No, she wasn't.
73,000
She was
individuals
elected
with
in
criminal
2010 and
history,
she took office in
20,000
2011.
convictions of
So
assault,
that's not
robbery,
true.
and sex offenses. 13,000 convicted murderers in our
Yeah, I
beautiful
just
country.
wanted to be
15,000
so that we're
convicted
clear.
Sexual assault
Okay,
offenders.
now
It was
she was
madness.
the
It was
assistant
insanity.
state
It's
attorney
bizarre.
in
It's
Hillsborough
perverse.
County,
What
Florida,
in God's
from
name are you doing?
1991 to 2009.
So we finally are cleaning
That's when
this
she
up
was
now.
there.
We're finally trying to make it right and safe for our
But it's
people.
important
So
because
my questions are
there's
this.
enough shit that she
General,
has
do
done
you believe
that
in
we don't
removing
got to muddy the
criminal,
waters with
illegal
it,
aliens
right?
from our communities will save American lives.
Yeah, no worries, Don Juan.
Yes, and given the cases that you just discussed, that's proof of it.
I have a hard time listening to her,
Trump
y'all.
is committed to that. This entire cabinet is committed to that and making and keeping Americans safe.
Thank you. Would you agree that, and thank you for doing that, would you agree that allowing individuals with known criminal histories to enter and remain in the United
It was
States?
the Palm
we knew
Beach
this
Police
back then. They knew
Department's
it.
police
Would you agree
chief.
that creates serious
He is
risk
the
to our public
individual
safety?
that
I know
took
the
that
answers, but let's
information
just
and took it to
say
the
I'm clear.
FBI and took it to the U.S.
Would you
Attorney's
agree that when
Office
dangerous
in Florida.
individuals are released
Without
instead of
him,
detained, and they were
none of it
released
would have
over
gone.
and over and over again? And these are the real
None of it
issues.
would have
This is
gone
really
anywhere,
what
okay?
America cares
And the
about. They
thing that I
their
want you all to
children and their
understand
families to be
is I
safe.
walked through.
Do you think if you release them instead of detaining them, that crimes will happen because of that?
Absolutely.
Would you
And it
agree
has.
that, I'm sorry,
And it did.
and it did, thank you.
So
Would you agree that cooperation between, and this is a biggie, and I'm gonna ask you to elaborate on this. This is a big deal. This is why some of the problems we're seeing in some of the places like Minnesota are happening.
she's
That
very arrogant when a
cooperation
Republican
between
is
federal
questioning her.
and local
She's
enforcement,
very
which we always
aggressive
used to have,
when it's
helps
a Democrat
remove
questioning her
violent
because she
offenders
knows
from our
her time is
communities, that we
limited.
should be a team.
So
Yes.
can I
And
turn
can
her
you
down for
elaborate
just a
on that
minute
little
and
bit?
can
In
I
other
connect
words,
some
when
dots?
the local
Because
enforcement
what
is
she should be
forced
talking
by the
about,
politicians, not
and
their
you guys,
fault,
can y'all help
not
me
to do their
keep
job,
time
not to
on? Okay, I need to watch time for just a second. And by the way, I have a book that we're going to be going over together at some point. It's called, y'all, that's my cat in my face.
push them, when you hit them.
He knows she's working my nerves. But you see this? We're going to go over this at some point in time too. It's called the Long Southern Strategy, how chasing white voters in the South changed American politics. I'm looking forward to going over this. Okay. But I want to pull this up for just a second. Titan, you got to move, baby.
Who want to work with us. And yes, we're going to
You
do
gotta
everything
move, babe.
we can to keep our
You gotta
citizens
move, okay?
safe.
I gotta do
Whether or
stuff.
not
I gotta
these,
work.
Democrat-controlled
okay.
sanctuary cities do or don't.
Okay.
Damn it, that's what really matters. I yield back.
Okay.
Mr.
Come on.
Chair, I have a UC.
All right.
Ms.
There you
Crockett
go.
From Texas is recognized for UC.
Thank you so much. Donald Trump's approval rating implodes.
Oh,
on
it's
his strongest
here.
issue.
I know
This
y'all
is
want to hear Jasmine.
Today, it says 40% of people
Thank you.
approve of
You don't
Trump's
need to
handling
read
of
the article to
immigration
us.
and border security, while 60% disapprove.
Without objection,
That is a net
admitted.
drop.
Now I recognize the
Negative
gentleman
20.
from California, Mr.
Okay. She was just having an article entered into the record. Sorry. What did I
Thank you,
mute
Attorney
that?
General Bondi,
Okay.
for being here today.
I know.
I'm going to show you
Sarah.
two photos.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you two photos of former Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew attended various parties with
No.
Jeffrey Epstein.
No, Gladys.
Under
I
the
did
law
not
Congress
go to
passed,
commercial. It
you were
didn't go
allowed
to commercial.
redact those photos
Damn.
to protect the victims of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. You redacted the photos of this victim's face because you were following the congressional law. Is that correct?
Sorry, guys. 1 second.
I'm sorry that we redacted the victims.
Because you were following the congressional law, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have now established that please put the photos back up, that we are looking at a sex trafficking victim. Under the Federal Victims Trafficking Protection Act, not only is Jeffrey Epstein guilty, but anyone who patronizes Epstein's sex operation is also guilty of a crime. That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients like former Prince Andrew. Last July, you closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties."
Yeah, no worries.
These two photos, please put
Was
the
your
photos
stream
back
from
up.
C-SPAN?
These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
Good.
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions.
He's
when he
asking
was, Attorney
you.
General
Eric
and
Garland
so-
did. Merrick Garland didn't shut down the investigation. You
I
did.
agree with you. I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta.
So can I also say that they were trying to prosecute a former president?
Change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them. So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer
Donald
that,
Trump.
though?
I want to move on to
Can
another
I answer
question.
your question about protecting?
You answered the question.
You're saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss.
Yeah,
the other
because
man,
he
Donald
gave
Trump,
you an opportunity.
was all over the Epstein files, like former Prince. Here's the video.
Damn. This is the video of Trump in the pink tie with Jeffrey. So y'all do know that they can clean up this audio.
Former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect.
Answer the
from
question.
All the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files
reclaiming my time.
be
I got your
released.
answer. You said there's no
President
evidence.
Trump asked
Chairman,
the
please stop the clock.
sign the legislation. This is
Time.
this is
I'd like to
ridiculous.
take my time.
Time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay.
I'm going to put up another document.
Watch this.
A witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of crime. I'm showing you. Here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop the limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell. So should the men who patronized his operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
He's asked for her to resign.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not ask a question.
He doesn't
You're
want
allowed
to
to.
talk
I
about
did not ask a
the
question.
crime in California. He does not want to talk
I
about
did not ask a
crime
question.
in his
She
state.
can't just ask this. I did not ask a question.
He said, I did not ask the question. She cannot respond.
Time. I think our next witness will be more than happy to let the Attorney General.
Madam Attorney General, would you like to?
Gentleman from Alabama is recognized for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you have a few minutes.
Thank you, Congressman. This is what Congressman Liu didn't want to talk about. He didn't want to talk about all the crime that is happening in his state.
So this is her response. Her response is, I'm going to talk about the crime that's happening in your state because I can't say.
Means California has released 4,000.
She is fucking terrified right now.
Criminal illegal aliens.
She's crashing
onto its street. The crimes of these aliens include 31 homicides.
She is crashing. What a crazy pivot. Yeah, dude, I am asking you. You just said under oath there is no evidence that he committed a crime. And he pulled up the documents that is a testimony from a witness that said he did. And yet your office didn't. Yeah, we do need a crash out button.
That's why.
Listen, I need a sound effect that goes, like I need that. I need that sound effect. That's going to be my crash out sound effect.
Attorney General, thank you for being here, and I want to make sure you had time to respond. I'm going to change gears a little bit, and in October when you were testifying before the Senate, I know
this is Representative Barrymore from Alabama.
Concerns the infiltration of the illegal Chinese vapes into our country. As a father of 3, obviously, I'm worried a little bit about this, and I believe that many parents in the country share our similar concerns.
As a father of 3, I'm a little bit worried about this.
DOJ's work in this space
Hey,
over the
Dr.
past
Love.
few months.
Yes, and thank you for bringing that up. We're talking about the vapes.
He's bringing up vapes.
Both sides of the
He's
aisle
bringing
work
up
together.
vapes.
Parents need to understand, children need to understand that so many of these are being manufactured in China, sent to our country, and have the potential to be laced with lethal drugs. We've seen an overdose. We need to get on the front end of this before we have another crisis and children are dying. I've partnered with Secretary
I'm going
Kennedy,
to
of
turn this
course,
down
the
for a minute because I don't think we
HHS
need to hear any of that part. I want to be clear about something, you all. So when Alex Acosta,
in many stores around the country,
he was specifically handpicked to be the U.S. attorney in Florida at the time right before they sought the arrest for Jeffrey in 2007. So I want to follow. So
continuing to work on that. And thank you for bringing that up.
give me
That's
one
happening in
moment.
our states, and I would ask everyone here. I know Congresswoman Ross was just nodding. It's happening in every state. And
Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second.
THC, many of these vapes, but they could be laced with fentanyl. We have had
All right,
trials.
so-
I wish I could think of the state it was in. We have already had someone.
All right.
overdose,
So
and we have to
here's the
get
thing. So
justice
at the time, so I want to just kind of walk with you guys through this, okay? So, hey, Sean, how are you? What's up, Trini? Hey, good gosh, Sandra, a bunch of y'all came in here and I didn't see you. Hey, guys. So I want to just connect a few dots for you all. So Alex Acosta was part of, how did I forget to plug my phone up? Alex Acosta was part of the George Bush administration from 2001 to 2005. Okay. He was appointed to be the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida towards the end of 2005, right? Guess what? That is when the investigation really began into Jeffrey. Did you all know that? That the investigation began in 2005? So in 2005, in Florida, give me 1 second. Do I still have the Palm Beach thing pulled up? Give me 1 sec.
We don't want to treat it as an unlicensed.
So listen to this.
They're not money transmitters. So.
No, Julia J. It says e-files and then it says Justice DOJ oversight.
Attorney General Blanche's memo, and we're working as hard as we can on that topic.
So it's playing in the background.
On that, so,
and I promise, if I hear Jasmine or something, this is a Republican questioning her, so it's bullshit. So I don't really care to listen to it, right? But I want to connect a few dots for you guys.
Trump called police about Epstein in 2006. Objection. Kamala Harris defends Biden administration decision not to release Epstein.
So this is Andy Biggs of Arizona. He's introducing articles that he wants admitted for the record, okay? But I want to connect a few dots for you guys. The Palm Beach Police Department began its investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, Sarah Kellen, and Haley Robinson March 15th of 2005.
After financier was convicted of child sex.
Okay, so follow me and listen. In March of 2005.
Hakeem Jeffries by firm working with Brooklyn's Barack.
I want to give you the exact date.
An email from Leslie Groff to Jeffrey Epstein concerning Hakeem Jeffries. Fundraising. Epstein funds.
All right, so
placed in 2019. Question mark.
Yeah, but I want the exact date. Thank you very much.
The gentleman from California is recognized, Mr. Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome, Ms. A.G. Bondi.
Who is this?
With you.
Hold on, guys.
Our top priority should be protecting Americans. In my past life, in the
Quasar
state legislature, I did a lot of work on.
So this
solving
is Representative
sex crimes,
Lou
passing
Correa.
legislation to update our codes. And I found that the biggest challenge to solving sex crimes is reporting them. Victims have to have the guts to stand up to report those sex crimes. But it's not easy. It's the most unreported sex crime there is. Crime there is sex crimes. It's painful, humiliating. A lot of times.
All right, can I give you guys some dates for you all that matter? Can I kind of connect some dots, please? All right, so because she's not going to answer shit, right? When Jasmine questions her, I'll turn her back up, but she's not answering shit. So let me just give you this. All right, so follow me. March 15th, 2005, the Palm Beach Police Department begins its investigation into Jeffrey, okay? At the time that happens, George W. Bush is in office, okay? And Alex Acosta is working in that administration. So he is working in the presidential administration, and he is working as he was the principal deputy assistant attorney general in the Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice from 2001 to 2002. From 2002 to 2003, he was a member of the National Labor Relations Board, and he authored like 125 opinions during that time. And then he was the assistant attorney general for the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ. I just want you to picture that. So I'm working at the Department of Justice, and I am the assistant to one of their main divisions, and I'm prosecuting human trafficking cases, and where he actually championed, like there was an issue in Oklahoma at the time, and making it so that federal law enforcement actually got involved to ensure that that Muslims could wear hijabs in school in Oklahoma at the time. And so that's in 2003. Okay. In 2005, all of a sudden, can you imagine? I am at the head agency. I am at the head law enforcement agency of the United States of America. I am the second in command for the Civil Rights Division. And all of a sudden, I am asked by the President of the United States to go be the U.S. Attorney for Florida. Why? Why? What prompted that change? Could it be that the Palm Beach Police Department was investigating Jeffrey in March of 2005? And they needed to put the appropriate people in place for any escalation in these charges. Because Alex Acosta is working in the DOJ, Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division. And all of a sudden, George W. Bush asks him to become the U.S. Attorney for Florida. And that happens, by the way, June 11th of 2005. So March 15th, Palm Beach Police Department, this is the first time it's officially on the radar. There's an official police investigation. This is what's happening. I don't think it was a favor, Jer Bear. I don't think it was a demotion. I think it was a favor. I think Alex Acosta was asked to do this thing as a favor, and he ended up being rewarded for it later when he was appointed by Donald Trump in Trump's first term. Right? I believe, and that's my personal opinion, which I'm entitled to, that it was a favor. He was asked to do this thing for the president. Okay? And so Alex Acosta becomes the U.S. Attorney for Florida June 11th of 2005. So when you go back and you were looking at the Palm Beach Police Department's report, their investigation went from March 15th, 2005 through February of 2006, right? And at that time, holy geez, it's really, really wild how all of this transpired. Okay. Well, so no, it's not just that, Christy. You're thinking too small. So let me ask you, everyone, this question. If you have not actually read the non-prosecutorial agreement and the plea deal done from the U.S. Attorney's Office with Jeffrey Epstein, please put a 1 in the comments. Hello, Raja. If you have never seen it. So by the way, for my folks who know that Raja is a friend of ours, you know that his direct link is in my link tree. His brother has a stone that was just discovered medically and needs to be removed. It's going to run about $1,500, and they are in Gaza. So if you have the ability to assist, please do so. Okay. All right. So you guys have it. So let's do that together because I have it. Okay. I have it and I want to share it with you. So because verbiage is important, especially legal verbiage. Okay. Can I take this down, y'all? Because she's not going to tell the truth. Can I just shut it down, you guys? She ain't telling the damn truth. And I'm just, sometimes I think it's worse to play these things live. Thank you. And the reason why is because you can't, you're amplifying the lies that they tell. And so sometimes I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Okay, so let me read it to you guys because words are important. And y'all let me know if I end up needing to turn a light on or whatever. It's overcast here today and I didn't set up any lighting or whatever. So it just is what it is. Okay. So, let me make sure. Oh, I need to make sure that I'm actually, hold on guys. There we go. Now I'm plugged up. All right. So here we go. Thanks, Victoria. All right. You guys ready? So here's what it says. This is the non-prosecutorial agreement that the government reached with Jeffrey in 2007. And then it was later signed and all of those things. Okay. So here we go. It says, it appearing that the City of Palm Beach Police Department and the State Attorney's Office for the 15th Judicial Circuit in and for Palm Beach County, herein after the State Attorney's Office, have conducted an investigation into the conduct of Jeffrey Epstein, herein after referred to as Epstein. It appearing that the State Attorney's Office has charged Epstein by indictment with solicitation of prostitution in violation of Florida statutes section 796.07. Now, this is the part that gets me, y'all. That's all he was charged with. Soliciting a prostitute. That's it. That's the charge that the State Attorney's Office gave him in Florida at the time. And they didn't want to do that. The only reason he got more than that is because the Palm Beach police chief took their information to the FBI and to the U.S. Attorney's Office. That is the only reason, because the State's Attorney's Office wasn't going to do anything more than what I just read to you. Okay? Then it says, it appearing that the United States Attorney's Office and the Federal Bureau of Investigation have conducted their own investigation into Epstein's background and any offenses that may have been committed by Epstein against the United States. That phrasing is very interesting. Against the United States from in or around 2001 through in or around September 2007, including, number one, knowingly and willfully conspiring with others, known and unknown, to commit an offense against the United States, that is, to use a facility or means of interstate or foreign commerce to knowingly persuade, induce, or entice minor females to engage in prostitution, which is a violation of Title 18 U.S. Code 2422B, all in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 371. No, this isn't even about being a double agent, Taki. That's not what this is about. This is about the U.S. code that can be used. But this next part, you got to listen to this next part so that you get the plea deal. Just listen. The next thing was knowingly and willfully conspiring with others, known and unknown, to travel in interstate commerce for the purpose of engaging in illicit sexual conduct as defined in 18 U.S.C. 2423F with minor females in violation of Title 18 U.S. Code Section 2423B, all in violation of Title 18 U.S. Code Section 2423E. Using a facility, this is point 3, using a facility or means of interstate or foreign commerce to unknowingly persuade, induce, or entice minor females to engage in prostitution in violation of Title 18 U.S. Code Sections 2422B and 2. And then the last point of this agreement says, traveling in interstate commerce for the purpose of engaging in illicit sexual conduct as defined in 18 USC 2423F with minor females in violation of 18 US Code section 2423B, and sorry, this is the last one, knowingly in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce, recruiting, enticing, and obtaining by any means a person knowing that that person had not attained the age of 18 years of age and would be caused to engage in a commercial sex act as defined in 18 USC 1591 C1 in violation of Title 18 US Code sections 1591A1 and 2. And then here is the part. Here is the part that's super important. Are you ready? It appearing that Epstein seeks to resolve globally his state and federal criminal liability. Now, here's what I want to understand. How does a non-prosecutorial agreement with the U.S. Attorney in Florida solve his criminal liability globally? How does that happen? Because you guys have to understand, his attorneys would have reviewed this, and his attorneys would have made sure that the verbiage in this non-prosecutorial agreement protected him. So listen to what it says. It appearing that Epstein seeks to resolve globally his state and federal criminal liability, and Epstein understands and acknowledges that in exchange for the benefits provided by this agreement, he agrees to comply with its terms, including undertaking certain actions with the state attorney's office. Well, I want to know what those actions are. Don't you? Here's the next. It appearing after an investigation of the offenses and Epstein's background. I want to know what the background is. I want to know what the background is, because I understand that you investigated the offenses, but when you say we've investigated the offenses and his background, I want to know what the fuck that part means. Because it says, after an investigation of the offenses and Epstein's background by both state and federal law enforcement agencies, and after due consultation with the state attorney's office, that the interests of the United States, the state of Florida, and the defendant will be served by the following procedure. Now, here's what I want to know. How is this non-prosecutorial agreement serving the country's best interest? Don't you all want to know that? How was giving this man a non-prosecutorial agreement serving the country's best interest? Because that was the basis of this plea deal. That was the basis of this agreement. So, Damon, I know what people are saying, right? And I hear you. But what I would like is not speculation. What I would like is for the United States of America, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the State's Attorney's Office to clearly outline for the American people what it was about Jeffrey Epstein's background that best served the interest of the entire fucking country, to give him this deal. Because we don't know what it is. Lady VH, I'm literally reading his non-prosecutorial agreement. And when you say things that are so general, he made deals with the U.S. government. What I want to know is the specifics. This is what, so listen, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying to you. I don't want conspiracy theories. I don't want, he was friends with this and he was friends with that. I already know that shit. I already know that. What I desire for everyone to understand is that in 2007, but we should know the specifics, Lady VH, and the reason why we should why we should know the specifics is because that is the place where we are at right now. We are at the place where those specifics are important to the entire country, because here's what we have. We have a ridiculous ass non-prosecutorial agreement that was made almost 20 years ago that is fucking up the entire country as we know it today. Today, there's not going to be any, oh, we got to keep it all quiet. At some point, they're going to have to explain to the American people or to the victims why we allowed over 1,000 girls and women and boys, right, to be victimized, and at what expense? Like, tell the people who we sacrificed them for.
Of the men who are implicated. How do
So
we
this
know?
is Massey.
Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them.
Oh my God.
And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a
Can I finish
co-conspirator.
my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
He was,
Mr.
this
Chairman.
is how this works.
Can I have my time?
He
back?
was,
Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The
No,
time
she
belongs to
cannot.
the gentleman from.
All right, I'm reclaiming my
Can I give
time.
my answer?
So I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman,
Because I
may I
have
give my
another
answer
question.
on that?
No.
It's a
Here's
political
the question.
joke, and I need to give my answer
Yeah,
on that.
we'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his
Chairman.
next question.
No,
My time.
he's reclaiming his time.
You asked me a question.
You can give
Within
me-
40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Then 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
Red-handed. There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a
4,700,
co-conspirator.
and we invited
You know what?
you
Show the
in.
video.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get. You're a failed politician.
Gentlemen,
You need to
I
know
want you to watch
the
the
matter.
Mr. Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the rules
There
here.
is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. Is that your position as well?
My position is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I'm reclaiming
all
my
the
time.
last
I'm glad
4
you're
years?
asking about Merrick Garland.
You get a reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't.
bigger than Watergate.
when I
He
don't
gets to
answer
fucking reclaim time
questions.
because he's in Congress.
Before administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
Now,
where you're
I
giving.
want to know at what point
He
did
said, let's
the
go back to
FBI and the
Obama. Let's
DOJ
go back to
decide
Bush.
that Lex Wessner was not
Which is
a
where I was at.
co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not. And it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has
Which,
expired.
may she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, could she answer the question?
Chairman, I was wondering,
The gentlelady's allowed, the
Mrs.
attorney general allowed to
Massey.
respond the way she wants to respond to any member's questions, Republican, Democrat.
I have unanimous consent request.
Gentleman's recognized for a UC.
All right.
Oh, shit.
This is an example. I'm submitting these 302 forms that are entirely redacted, even when you go to look at them.
Without objection.
I'm submitting a witness statement that implicates Les Wexner.
Without objection.
I'm submitting an article from the New York Times that the DOJ released nude photos and identifiable pictures of the victims. I'm submitting a letter from AG Bondi to Kash Patel, imploring him to quit keeping the files when you found out that they were keeping files from you, because they're still redacting files that you.
Chairman, are we going to, recess for votes?
Yes, we are.
I'm submitting for unanimous consent a document of 17 individuals who've resigned because of the Epstein files.
Without objection.
So they're gonna take a recess.
Just one second on how much time we have left in votes.
I had to
but
eat a
one thing
Cracker
I've
Barrel,
learned
Ray.
here,
My tummy is
wait,
upset.
Don't wait on this. How much time do we have? Oh, they just called. Okay. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Maryland.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to start by saying I appreciate what you
Jamie
said,
Raskin.
Attorney General Bondi, and you said it to me personally, that you take the personal security of every member of Congress seriously and that people can contact you about that. And in these times, that's a very serious matter. So I thank you for that. Article 2, Section 1, Clause 7 of the Constitution is the Domestic Emoluments Clause. And it says that the president is limited to his salary in office and cannot receive any other money from the federal government while he's in office. It cannot be increased by $1. This president is the first president in U.S. history who has repeatedly sued the federal government for $230 million for the judicial search warrant at Mar-a-Lago, which was perfectly lawful and was never struck down. But now he's suing the IRS for $10 billion. He's suing the IRS for $10 billion, which I think is around 80% of its annual budget, because his tax returns were leaked, and they were illegally leaked by a private contractor who actually is in prison now, Charles Littlejohn, but he wants $10 billion. Now, but I want to ask you the question of whether you think it would violate the Domestic Emoluments Clause for you to settle that $10 billion case or any of the other claims that the president has made against the government. He himself has remarked, it's interesting because I'm the one that makes the deal, right? And he says, I kind of have to work it out with myself. Do you think it would violate the Domestic Emoluments Clause for the president to work out a deal from people who are his subordinates under his unitary executive theory to get money in one of these cases?
I'm not going to discuss pending litigation.
Okay, so theoretically, you're saying because his privacy rights were violated in that tax case, and they were. I'm with the president on that. I mean, his Mar-a-Lago thing is ridiculous, but there's no doubt that his tax returns, despite the fact that he promised to release them, despite the fact that every other president released the tax returns, he suffered embarrassment when it showed that he hadn't paid taxes for several years, and he had a right for that not to happen. Now, I want to turn back to the Epstein survivors, because President Trump may have been a little bit embarrassed by the release of those tax returns. How much do you think the claims of these survivors are worth? As the good congressman from Kentucky just pointed out, there were lots of survivors who had decided, for reasons of their own, never to release their names. That determination was represented to people in Congress, and we built it into our federal law that their names could not be released. And yet you published their names, their phone numbers, their addresses, personally identifying information. If Donald Trump can get $10 billion theoretically from the Department of Justice, how much should these people get for a far worse violation of their privacy rights and a far greater danger established to them in their lives?
Do you even know who Chase Mulligan is? You're so obsessed with, you don't, do you?
I'm going to teach you the rules again. You're the Attorney General of the United States. We have rules here.
You're obsessed with him.
You're the Attorney General of the United States.
You're
The rules.
obsessed with Donald Trump. You have Trump derangement syndrome.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like my time
Mulligan will be
restored. I'd like my time
sentenced next
restored.
week in your district. In your district, and you don't even know about it, about keeping children
Time belongs
safe
to
from
the
online
gentleman.
predators.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Maryland. Gentleman can proceed.
Yeah, and I want the whole country to look at this, because this is the Attorney General of the United States, whose job is law enforcement. We've never had a witness who has misunderstood our rules and been unable to conform his or her conduct to our rules before. We have only 5 minutes, and so we use our time to ask you specific questions.
How long are you giving me to
Excuse
answer?
me, I'm not yielding to you right now. I'd like that second restored too. So, Ms. Bondi, the way it works is we ask you a question and you answer it. And if you go off on a wild goose chase, another tangent, you start reading statistics or you start talking about stuff going on in our district. And by the way, I invite you to my district. Come to my district, but that's not what we're here to do today. Okay, so, and you do that, then we're allowed to say we reclaim our time. At that point, you have to be quiet. You have no choice. You have to be quiet. So I hope you understand the rule of this point. Now, here's what I want to ask you. You're in law enforcement. We've seen all kinds of evidence of crimes. And when we go over to the Department of Justice for the 4 computers for every member of Congress, we see more evidence of crimes. Will you create a joint task force of the Department of Justice and governors and state attorney generals and district attorneys across the country to investigate the crimes that have taken place against these victims and more than 1,000 like them? The DOJ is not doing its job. Will you create a task force with state and local law enforcement to make that happen?
No, she's going to say no.
Gentleman can respond. She wants to.
Thank you, Chairman. He called Chase Mulligan a wild goose chase and didn't even know who he was. He is a defendant in your own district who preyed on girls.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, you know what? If he were part of the Epstein investigation, you wouldn't do anything about it.
Online chat rooms and committed sextortion. Yet he didn't even know in your tiny little district who he was.
Mr. Chairman, she's embarrassing you.
He's about to be
This is your committee, and she is embarrassing you.
Time of the gentleman has expired. I would remind the committee that last Congress, Secretary Mayorkas was here numerous times, and he wouldn't answer our questions, even when we sent them to him ahead of time in writing. So that's what we've had to deal with. I think the Attorney General is doing just fine. We have votes shortly.
Of course you do.
I will go to the gentleman from Virginia, and then we will take a break to head to the floor.
I thank the chairman, Attorney General Bondi. Thank you for being here. And I wanted to thank you for your work at DOJ in restoring the rule of law, encouraging transparency surrounding Jack Smith's partisan investigations into President Trump, declassifying information about the Russia collusion hoax.
I can't. Okay. All right. So they're about to go vote. They are about to go vote. But I want to go back. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. I think that people, so this is the point that I hope everybody leaves here with. I think people need to understand that the people that have made the commitments to be in, they can't go back. You all understand that, right? They can only double down and triple down. They can only double down and triple down, because it's either stay in this shit and hope we win against all winning, or we are fucking going to jail. That is where they are. Okay? They are at, oh shit, we either ride this motherfucker till the wheels fall off, or we are all going to jail. That's where they're at, folks. And I think that this is the thing that people really need to get it, is that they're not going to change. There is no shaming them. You cannot shame people with no morals. Let me say that again. You cannot shame people that have no morals. It's just like, so this is why I had people that got really mad at me when I said, stop talking about the daggone Obama's guerrilla thing with Trump. I said, stop, because here's the thing. If the people that voted for Donald Trump gave a fuck if he is bigoted or racist, he would not be in office. He just wouldn't be in office. If it mattered to people whether or not he was bigoted, he would not be in office. It's just that simple. So you're expecting someone to all of a sudden care about something or find Jesus and find morality when they don't have it. Listen, a friend of mine taught me something, good gosh, not quite 20 years ago now, that I really want you to remember. You cannot put into people what the good Lord left out. You cannot put into people what the good Lord left out. The only person that can put something into themselves is that individual. You can't do it. Okay. I'm okay, Titan. Goodness gracious. You cannot put into people what the good Lord left out. Appreciate you, Sage. So could you stop, please, Titan? No, baby. You can't sit. And so the thing is like, why are you upset that, let me ask you all a question. Did you truly have an expectation that Pam Bondi was going to come before Congress today and tell the truth? Did you all think that that was going to happen? Of course not. So why are you letting it get you all riled up? Why are you riding the emotional roller coaster that Pam Bondi is on? Get off her roller coaster. Get off the roller coaster. Take that. You want to know how you hold her accountable? You hold her accountable by ensuring that we have a Democratic majority in Congress so that she can be impeached, removed, and prosecuted. That's how you hold her fucking accountable. You hold her accountable by ensuring that we have a Democratic majority in Congress so that she and fellow members of that cabinet can be impeached and removed, because that second part's where it's at, so that she can be prosecuted. That's how you hold her accountable. It's not that difficult. They have proof of her lies. Literally, Massey just showed you proof of her lies just now. I want to be clear. Like Massey just showed you proof of her lies just now. Yes, the Speaker of the House can be impeached and removed. Although he's not really the target at the moment. So I've talked about this before, okay? Impeachment. So by the way, I believe there are at least 2 members of the cabinet that could be impeached and removed prior to the midterms. And Salam Nader. And so those people, in my humble opinion, are Christy Noem, 100%, okay, and RFK Jr. I think those are the top 2. And they are the easiest members of the of the cabinet that I believe. I did just say salam. I greeted somebody who greeted me. Yeah. Okay. So, hey, Carl. So I'll share with you how that works. Okay. So Mimi, I already answered that question. So I'll share with you how that works. Hey, Tiffany. All right. So when you have, and we'll start with Christy Noem. There is enough evidence and there's enough public support around the actions that around, let me say this, there's enough public outcry around the actions that ICE has taken and Kristi Noem have taken and all of that, right? There's enough outcry over that, and there's enough instances of U.S. citizens that have been negatively impacted, that have been detained, that have been arrested, that have been unalived, right? You could use that information and apply enough pressure, and you could get successfully members of the Republican Party to switch side and join the Democrats to impeach and remove Kristi Noem. There's enough of that there to make that happen. So what we know for sure is over 100 U.S. citizens have been illegally detained by ICE. And that number is more than that now. Those people include people that are in Republican districts, in Republican states, right? Listen, if you're part of the Democratic Party, if you are part of the independent, but whatever it is, that's an easy way. You get the names of those people, you get their experiences, you interview them, and then you use that information as leverage for those members of Congress. It's not that difficult. And you force those members of Congress to either do the right thing, impeach and remove her, or they lose. I'm not talking about Pam. I'm specifically talking about Kristi Noem right now. And then the second is easy too. It's RFK Jr. And you do RFK Jr. by going down and talking to the 800 people in South Carolina that have measles, and the people that are quarantined, and the measles folks that have been hospitalized. You go and you get the members of the American Academy of Pediatrics, and you bring them before Congress, and you allow them to testify, and you allow those physicians to tell you exactly what the deal is. You can use those things to absolutely impeach and remove RFK Jr. Those two members of the cabinet can be gone before we ever reach the midterms. And as that happens, you build the momentum for a Democratic majority in Congress. That's it. So listen, there's not going to be a blanket Article 2, Section 4. Stop looking for quick fixes to how we got here. There's not going to be a blanket Article 2, Section 4, folks. That's not the way that it's going to work. Okay? Listen, Dr. Oz is going to be impeached and removed too. Listen, Dr. Oz is going around the country telling people that we need to make Americans healthier so that you can start working a day earlier, so that you can work later in life or never ever retire at all, right? So that you can pay off the $3 trillion debt that this country created, taking care of fucking corporations. I want you all to understand that. They don't want you to be healthier so that you can enjoy your life, to spend time with your family, to be good to your children, to go on vacation. No, they want you to be healthier so you can work harder for the billionaires that aren't paying you a livable wage today. That's what they want. So they can go buy another fucking yacht. That's it. So that's it, folks. And let me just level set, because how many of you all are new to me? If you've never ever been in my live before, put a 1 in the chat for me if you are new to me. Okay, so let me be clear. I am not a registered Democrat. I am not a registered Republican. I have voted for Republicans in my lifetime, and I have voted for Democrats in my lifetime. I am a progressive populist. What does that mean? That means that I am someone who values policy that is for the average working person, for the majority of the people, right? Not the elitists, not the classists, but for everyone. And I am progressive because I want to make progress and move the country forward. So that is who I am. I lean towards policy that benefits the regular people and not corporations. Most of the time in this country, from a domestic policy standpoint, that means I'm going to favor Democratic candidates because that is who typically puts forward those types of policy, which I'm not going to make it today. I'm going to have to let her know, right? Give me 1 second. Hold on, you guys, for me 1 second. So I don't believe that corporations are people. I don't think that they should be treated as people. I don't think that they're give me 1 second, folks. 1 second. Oh my God, could I please have the thing I need? Can I search? Okay, hold on. One second. I gotta leave him a message. Hold on. Yeah, no. I gotta do this. I know, Lynn. It's okay. I know you can hear just the ringing. I know you're not going to be able to hear the rest. No, that's not true, Birdie, little Taurus Birdie. That's not true. Good morning, Marilyn. Okay. Yeah, no, that's not true. Hold on.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Hey, Dr. G. It is Veteran Cook. I know we're supposed to meet in 15 minutes. I literally have 700-800 people in a room right now. I don't know what I got to do about this timing, but I'll call you and then maybe I'll chat tomorrow. I'm just not going to be able to make today's at 1 o'clock. Okay. I appreciate you. And I know we need to do it. I can't today. Okay. Thanks. Bye. All right. So now let me take care of that. I needed to reschedule. All right. So let me be very, very clear about where we are and what can happen and what is happening. So the first thing that I would say, appreciate you guys back. The first thing that I would say is that you have to understand that the GOP knows that they are losing. Listen, the reason that they want to try to scare you when Steve Bannon gets up in front of everybody and says, oh, we're going to have ICE around the midterms, that's because they want to scare you to keep you from voting. Okay, well, let ICE be out there in fucking November. Guess what we're going to do in November? We're going to have already checked our voter registration. We're going to have already requested mail-in ballots. We're going to already, so right now, every single one of you should be contacting your state, your Secretary of State's office and asking for their plan on how to handle ICE around the midterms. You have to, this is the thing. Call up your fucking Secretary of State right now. Call up your Democratic Attorney General's office and ask them, what are your plans to protect voters and their votes? Hold them to account, because those people get elected to office too. You don't get to vote out the chairman of a committee. The way that you change who the chairman of a committee is change who the majority is. So the reason Jim Jordan is the chairman is because his party allowed him to go to that committee and then made him the chairman. So the moment that there's a Democratic majority in Congress, the moment this foolishness and fuckery stops. Period. But listen, y'all are too focused. You're too focused on how do we do this one person? How do we do this one person? Listen, how do we right this entire ship? Because we have things, we need to be about the business of fixing things. So what does that mean? That means we need to be, number one, impeaching and removing members of this cabinet. I told you, start with Noam, then go to RFK Jr. That would be the one. Number two. So, Crystal, you guys have to understand that elections are run by the states. Elections are run by the states. So this is why I said you absolutely need to look at your state, your Secretary of State's office and your state attorney general. Those are the people that need to be shoring up your elections for you. Like literally Arizona said, we are not giving you our voter information. Why are we not? Because you all put, I think it was like hold on, let me see how many it was. Hold on. How many of them was it? Yeah, over 300 million Americans. 300 million. 300 million Americans had their social security numbers put on an insecure server in this administration. Y'all know that, right? So literally, the Secretary of State in Arizona was like, fuck no, I'm not giving you our voters' information. You all put 300 million Americans' information on an insecure server that could be hacked by anyone. No, we're not giving you our people. And this is where people need to understand. There is a reason we have United States and then we have state laws. We have federal laws that govern the entire country. And then we have state laws that work for those states. Period. And folks, let me tell you what, the reason they are so busy paying for and putting out bots to go all over the internet to say things like, there's not going to be any midterms, is because they want to scare you. They want you to think there's not going to be midterms. Of course there is. Of course there is. Do you want to know why there is? Because elections are state controlled. Listen, if things were going as great as they say they are, they wouldn't need to do the fuckery that they are doing. Period. Listen, the focus is on how do we do the things that we need to do. Okay? So, and when I say we, and let me just be clear about something. So, I will take a Thomas Massie all day. Give me Thomas Massie. That's a Republican I would be happy to work with. If you are a GOP member of Congress that is compromised, if you can't do your job because you're too busy serving at the pleasure of the president when you are elected by the people, you can miss me with that bullshit. I want to be clear Members of Congress do not serve at the pleasure of the president. They were elected by the people, for the people. So if you can't do what the majority of the people desire, then you don't deserve to be in office. It's just that simple. So so Tracy, do I think that's why he only wanted Republican governors to come to the White House? I think that the reason why they only invited Republican governors to come to the White House is because they believe, number one, it's because they know there's not a single Democratic governor that will do his bidding. And they believe that it is Republican governors that they can pressure into doing his bidding. It's the same reason when it came to 2020, when they asked Jack, why did he only go after Republicans? And he said, because those are the only people they thought would do the damn crime. That is the only people that they thought. What did Rudy Giuliani say? Because, we're all Republican. Period. Before you guys respond to comments, I just want you all to know something. Before you respond to comments in this chat, just click it. And I want you to see how many of them have like less than 100 followers and are following less than 100 people. They got bots. There is a reason they bought this fucking app. There is a reason Larry Ellison bought TikTok. They are trying to do their level best to make people think it is something that it is not. Exactly, I'm on this app. You want to know why? I was on this app before Larry Ellison bought it, and I'll be on this app after that bitch no longer has it. Let me just be real clear. You're not running me off this app. You're not shutting my voice down. I'm not going anywhere. You gotta be crazy. What, you think I'm about to I'm just gonna submit in advance? Absolutely fucking not. Y'all can miss me with it. I'm not going anywhere. Listen, when I was 17 years old in high school, I stood in my local recruiter's office and I raised my right hand and I took a fucking oath. And the oath that I took wasn't to the Democratic Party. It wasn't to the Republican Party. It wasn't to a particular person. It wasn't to the White House. The oath that I took was to the Constitution of the United States of America. That's the oath. And that oath doesn't end when you take off your combat boots and your Kevlar. That vote doesn't end when you ETS. That oath is the oath. And that means you call a thing a thing. If the threat is domestic, you call it a threat. If the threat is foreign, you call it foreign. And when the foreign and the domestic are working together, you call that a thing too. And that is the difference between patriotism and nationalism. I'm not a nationalist. I'm a patriot. There's a difference between the two. And being a patriot doesn't mean I have to love my country. When I say my country, I mean my government. I don't gotta love my government. My government fucking sucks. My government makes laws that intentionally target people that look like me. My government didn't let men who look like my daddy use their GI Bill benefits when they came home from Vietnam. Listen, I don't gotta love the government, but I can damn sure love the potential of the people. I can 100% love the potential of the people. And that's where I'm at. Listen, if y'all think I want to sit up here and talk to some of these ninjas every day, fuck no. But it is what's required. This, when I think about how do I make the largest impact possible, it is doing this. This is the only way. I reach more people doing this every day than if I show up at one march. I reach more people doing this every day than doing anything else. So this is the new service. So I have a ball cap instead of a Kevlar. I'm barefoot instead of combat boots. And I got on yoga pants and a hoodie instead of BDUs. The service is still the same. Folks, this is so much bigger than just Donald Trump. This is about the entirety of this country. And if you are truly, truly tired of how it has been done, then you have to become really serious and committed about how you change it, about how you fix it. And it is not just going to be one step, one impeachment, one prosecution, one election. It's not just one. It has to be all of them. The Bears, I don't think we got to be mad enough. I think we have to be hopeful enough. Listen, anger dies down. Hope, man, that should be everlasting. Hope is everlasting. I say this all the time. I talk about, so listen, I am a Hunger Games girl, okay? I volunteer as tribute. I'm a Hunger Games girl. And what did President Snow tell the game maker? He said, what is the only thing more dangerous? He said, hope. He said, listen, the only thing bigger than fear is hope. That's what he said. The only thing stronger than fear is hope. He said, a little bit of hope is good because it keeps people moving. He said, a lot of hope is dangerous. If you want to become dangerous to the status quo, if you want to become dangerous to the establishment, if you want to become dangerous to this fuckery in this country right now, you better become hopeful. Find yourself some hope and you will be the greatest threat they've ever seen. And that ain't even why you do it. You do it for the hope. You do it for the work. There are a couple of things that motivate me in this lifetime, right? Well, a couple of categories. You ready? A couple of categories. The first one are my grandbabies. I have beautiful multiracial grandbabies. I'm biracial. My grandbabies are multiracial. And when I look at them at 12 and 8 and 5, they deserve better than this bullshit we have created for them. I want to be real clear about that. They deserve better than the bullshit we have created for them. And be clear about it, folks. We co-created this. So when you might say, oh, I don't support this. No, but we've all contributed to the creation of it, whether we didn't vote at all, whether we voted, whether we talked bad about people and we pushed them away, right? However we participated, we all participated in the co-creation of this, right? So give me a second. I'm doing mama duties right now because I also have 2 daughters. And right now, my 2 daughters have less rights than I had when I was born. Just let that sink in for a minute. My 2 daughters have fewer rights today than I did when I was born. I will be absolutely damned if I don't do something about that to ensure that that is course corrected and my granddaughters have even more rights than I ever had. Like, real talk. This is me taking care of my daughter. What are those rights? Reproductive freedom. That's the right. That's the right. OMG America. That's the right. That's one of them, by the way. 100%. I'm not in public office. No, I'm not. So how do you go about doing this? So matter of fact, I'm so glad y'all are helping me set a date because I needed to set a date. You ready? So the date is March 8th. That is the date. That is the date. March 8th. That is the date. And here's what I am going to do. I promise today, I am going to put up a registration form. If you want to know what I intend to do and what I plan to do and what you can do to ensure that we right this ship this year, you want to come to my Google Meet on March 8th. That's the day. And I will walk you through step by step, absolutely every piece of what I believe is the most powerful way for us to do this. So if y'all will give me a second, I will literally create the registration form right now. Let me pull this up. All right, I'm doing it right now. You ready? So watch this for. This is called, I'm just gonna put it on here for you. Join Dani. Sorry. I know that was a lot, so just give me a second. It's going to be, what did I say? March 8th, and I'm going to pick a time. I'm going to say 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How about that? I need to do a setting. I'm going to have you all put responder input, send a copy of their response. Nope. Okay, perfect. That's going to be there. I'm going to link it to, hold on. This is going to say for the people registration. That's what I'm going to call it because that's what it is. It's for the people registration. Y'all ready? Y'all join in? Y'all come in? I'm just tired of people who ain't about shit, not doing shit, right? Do you agree to receive email with the link for the people launch on March 8th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Option 1 is yes. Option 2 is no. If you do anything other than yes, you will not get it. Okay. Appreciate you guys. So the next thing that I need is first first name. And yes, I'm doing this right now because y'all, I help take care of my grandbabies and shit. And I got to do things while I can do things. And this is when I can do it. If I don't do it now, I'll get sidetracked. And then I got one more, which is anything else you would like me to know. All right, so I'm going to give you that, and that one's not required. Those are required. Those are required. Got your email published. And now I am literally putting it in my link tree as we speak. So if you are watching me, you can go to my profile. And when you go to my profile, I have a link for my link tree. In that link, there are two links that I want to tell you about right now. The one is the one that I just made. It's going to say for the people meeting registration. And then the second one under that is Roger Stone documentary viewing. If you have never seen the Roger Stone documentary that does not have streaming rights in the United States of America, and you want to see him admit to his Russian collusion and he and Matt Gaetz scheme for him to get a pardon. If you want to hear Roger Stone admit that they came up with Stop the Steal in 2015, if you want to hear him say, yep, Trump should be impeached, if you want to hear him say Jared Kushner should be prosecuted, if you want to hear him talk about how money changed hands with Steve Bannon, register. I'm showing the documentary Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you do not register, you will not get the link and you will not be able to view it. Okay? Now, I have done my part. It is in there. Yep. So, you should be able to see my link tree. Give me 1 second. I'm going to copy it. For those of you guys that are watching online, can one of my mods go put my link tree link in the Facebook chat? Because I know it's on the YouTube chat. And I need somebody to put my link tree link on the Substack chat. They are both in they already have my, my link tree is on my profiles, right? But there you go. When I tell you all that I mean this with every fucking fiber of my being, I mean it. And it's not because I'm perfect. It's not because I think I have all the answers. It's not. It's just because I'm tired of waiting on somebody else to provide some sort of pathway forward. I am so tired of waiting for somebody that is in a position of power and authority and direction to tell people what to do. And protests are great. However, we need something like right the fuck now. I need something tangible. I need something that I can use. I need to be able to talk to the people that are in my circles of influence. I need to know what the fuck I'm talking about when I talk to people. And when people say walk out, okay, so listen, I would love for someone to explain to me how walking out makes sure that we have a Democratic majority in Congress. Because let me tell you something. There is a ton. Well, Wayne, listen, if you don't like having undocumented immigrants in our country, feel free to leave. Go on a prolonged vacation. Because it's not your country. You don't own it. And I want you to have the day you deserve. Goodbye, sir. When people say walk out everywhere, listen, for the people that are talking about doing a mass walkout, that comes from a place of privilege. When you talk about mass walkout, that comes from a place of privilege because there are a lot of people that can't dream of being able to walk out. People can't even miss a shift. I know people that don't even take off work to go to the damn doctor because they can't afford not to get a paycheck. Just to be clear. Well, thank you. I did confirm it. So the reality is very simple, folks. If you want to do something that is permanent, that actually moves things forward, first of all, you got to know how we got here. You got to know where we are. What is the time that we're in? Do you all understand that the people that wrote Project 2025 literally believe that you and I are the enemy? They believe you are the enemy, and they believe they are at war. How do I know? Because they fucking said so. Kevin Roberts, the president of the Heritage Foundation, literally said, if following the rules got us here with Black and brown people and LGBTQ plus people, then what good are the rules anymore? They have given themselves permission to violate the rules. They said, what good are the rules if it's going to create people we don't like and we don't agree with? And they are basing it on their religion. There is nothing more dangerous than someone believing they are doing what's right for you against your will based on their faith. There ain't nothing like having somebody else believing that they are saving your soul, even though you didn't ask to be saved. Y'all get that, right? There is nothing more dangerous than having somebody believe they are doing what's best for you because of their religion and their God. Listen, when people believe that they are sanctioned by God and ordained by God, they do really dangerous things. Listen, if you want to worship Jesus Christ and God and believe that there's three gods, the Godhead, Jesus, and Holy Spirit, I'm all for that. Do it. And you don't get to put your Bible in public schools. You don't get to use your religion. So I said this a minute ago, and I'm gonna say a while ago, and I'm gonna say it again. It's gonna make some people mad, but just here we are, okay? Listen, Christians can't even decide which denomination is the most godly. Y'all got 5,100 denominations within Christianity. You can't even decide whether you should speak in tongues or hold snakes. How are you deciding for the whole country what they should believe or what they should read? Am I doing wafers and wine on Sunday morning? Am I confessing to a priest in a cubicle? What am I doing? Am I drinking or not drinking? Because I went to an Episcopalian wedding and holy hell, they drink. They drink. No, I'm not being disingenuous. I'm being as genuine as hell. I was raised Christian Southern Baptist. I am absolutely being genuine. And the reason I'm specifically talking about Christianity is because that is the religion being used in the United States of America to dictate what happens in our schools and in our government. That's the reason I'm talking about Christianity. It's just that simple. You don't have to like it. Listen, I don't care if you're Christian, Buddhist, atheist, agnostic, spiritualist. I literally don't care. The only time I am interested at all in the religion that you practice is if you attempt to weaponize that religion to dictate the rights of people. That's it. Period. And that's not difficult to understand. And if you believe that that is controversial or that is disingenuous, then I question your participation in the conversation. You can't weaponize religion without weaponizing religion. So let me just be clear. Making books available to read does not mean forcing you to read the books. I go into libraries all the time, and just because a book is available to me does not mean I have to read it. Making books available to you does not mean you are forced to read the book. Now, taking books out means you are infringing upon my rights. Period. That's it. And this is not difficult to understand. Exactly, Kima. You don't get to choose for me. So if you really want to know something, let me ask you a question, real talk. How many of you all know the number of individuals in your congressional district that are projected to lose their Medicaid benefits because of the one big barbaric bill? How many of you all know that number for your congressional district? Do you think that that would be helpful information to know? Because I'm going to tell it to you. I'm going to give it to every single one of you all. And then I'm going to share with you how to use that information. That's what I'm going to do. Do you all know how many states in this country had a margin of 10% or less in the 2024 election? How many of you all know how many states in the country had a margin of 10% or less in 2024 in the presidential election? 12. 12. I did say it the other day. It is 12. It is not always like that, Charles. No, it's not. And do you know how many counties within those states had margins that were 10% or less? Because I do. I do. I wonder how many of those people are happy with their vote right now. I wonder how many of those people in those states. Yeah, well, Charles, your opinion. I have looked at past elections. Matter of fact, I've looked at presidential, gubernatorial, and congressional elections for the past 6 to 8 years. Yeah, we do. So give me a second. Doo-doo-doo. Whoops. I didn't mean to create that. I didn't mean to open that. All right. So let me scroll down for just a minute. So the states, the 12 states with margins that are 10% or less in the 2024 presidential election are Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Minnesota, New Jersey, Virginia, and New Mexico. That's how many. What's crazy about Wisconsin is Trump won Wisconsin by less than 1%. So Wisconsin, which had an overall state margin of 10% or less, had 15 of their 72 counties with a margin of 10% or less. And of those 15, 8 were rural. Y'all, that's 21% of the state of Wisconsin. That is 21% of the state of Wisconsin. So just sit with that for a minute. You don't get the link, Linda, until an hour before the documentary viewing. So what happens is you will get the link for the Roger Stone documentary viewing on Friday. You will get it at around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as soon as the documentary is over, that link will no longer be active. Now, when you actually go back further and you do House, Senate, presidential, and gubernatorial races for Michigan, that takes the number to 16 counties. 16. That's 20% of Michigan. When I tell you that there is a way, and it's twofold, folks, it's twofold. Data alone isn't what shifts people. The biggest and easiest segment of people to talk to are people that are registered to vote that didn't vote. People that are registered to vote that didn't vote. And what's crazy is, even within, and I'm talking about overall states, there are counties within Republican states that also had margins of 10% or less. Why does that matter? Because of course it does. Of course it matters. So if I just take North Carolina, for example, North Carolina went red, did it not? North Carolina went red in 2024, correct? And guess what? Just off the top, I'm going to show you right now. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 14 counties in North Carolina. I'm talking about presidential, Candy. And from a presidential perspective, there were 14 counties in North Carolina whose margins were 10% or less. And of those 14, give me a second, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, half of them are Republican. Now, what happens if you shift just 7 out of 14 counties? Folks, let me just be real clear about what I'm talking about. I'm talking about having real conversations with real information that actually impacts people. Imagine if I could go to you and say, hey, did you know 20,000 people in our congressional district are going to lose their SNAP benefits because of the one big barbaric bill? What if I said that? And then what if I said to people, this is how many people in your county are on SNAP? Do you know anybody in your county that's on SNAP? Do any of your neighbors get Medicaid? How do you feel about little Susie and Johnny not being able to see their pediatrician? You get it, right? You get it, right? And let me be clear about something, folks. There might be some people that are like, I don't care. My response to that is very simple. Okay, good. Glad to know that's the kind of person that you are. But I believe that the vast majority of this country isn't like that. I believe that when it comes down to a local level and you are talking to the people in your community, right? It matters to them. When you take it from national politics down to a hyper local conversation, it changes the game. And the crazy part is, how many of you all know the percentage of people in this country that work, that receive Medicaid? How many of you know? Do you know the percentage? Nope, Kima, 70%. 70% of the people in this country that are on Medicaid are working. They are working. So, yeah, we're talking about adults. I'm talking about adults that are of working age, 100%. So, give me a second. Let me pull this up. All right. So, for you guys over here, I'm going to share my screen. Let me show y'all. This, by the way, is in my link tree. All right. So when I take a look at whoops. Where is my All right. So I'm just going to kind of give you, so the majority of Medicaid adults actually work. Percentage in Virginia is 70%. The percentage in North Carolina is 67%. The percentage in Pennsylvania is 72%. The percentage in Michigan is 71%. West Virginia, the percentage is 62%. Tennessee, the percentage is 68%. Texas is 68%. California is 68%. New York is 71%. Colorado is 75%. Iowa is 77%. Florida is 68%. Georgia is 67%. Louisiana, 69%. Arizona, 66%. North Dakota, 72%. Illinois, 70%. Alaska, 72%. So what can you get from this? Is that regardless whether it is a red state or a blue state, regardless, the vast majority of people that are adults, that are of working age, that receive Medicaid work. But if I can convince people that they don't work, And then people not working is why you don't have what you have, instead of focusing on the fucking billionaire and the corporation that's not paying you a livable wage. Then I can continue to just like make all my money off of your back, and then you never know. That's a fact. Did you know that in Virginia, there are 1.5 million children and adults that are in Medicaid? 37% are children, 17% are rural, 70% of them work either full-time or part-time. And did you know that in the Commonwealth of Virginia, 35% of all of the babies born in that state are born to people with Medicaid insurance? 62% of nursing home residents are on Medicaid. Nursing home residents, 62%. And 37% of working age adults with disabilities are covered by Medicaid. Medicaid is not for seniors, BCS. You're probably referring to Medicare, and Medicare is not the same thing as Medicaid. So it's important to know the things that you're talking about. In the entire country, 40%, 4 out of 10 children in this country are covered by Medicaid. All of you pro-life, love our children, you're worried about our children, but our children, you guys are exposing our children. 4 out of 10 children in the United States of America is covered by Medicaid. But y'all want to cut that shit. Take it away. Do you know the number of births in this country? For the whole, well, let's talk about fetuses came out. We can do that too. 41% of all of the births in this country are covered by Medicaid. 41% covered by Medicaid. Somebody asked me to do Texas. You want Texas? Here's Texas's numbers. 4,420,000 children and adults in Texas are on Medicaid. 61% of the people on Medicaid in Texas are children. 61% of the people on Medicaid in Texas are children. 13% of them live in rural areas. 68% of the people in Texas work full or part-time. 38% of all births in Texas, 38% of all births in Texas are covered by Medicaid. 61% of all nursing home residents covered by Medicaid. 26% of the adults in Texas with disabilities who are of working age, 26% of them are covered by Medicaid. I researched them all, Sarah. These are in my link tree already. These I've created graphics for that have been available to people for almost a year now. And so let me just be clear, and I'm going to give it to you just so that everyone knows, okay? So in this country, the law, which is 8 USC 1611, that is the law that determines whether or not unauthorized immigrants can get federal benefits. And the answer is they cannot. They cannot get Medicare. They cannot get Social Security. They cannot get SNAP that is federally funded. They can get nothing that comes from federal dollars. That's the law, 8 USC 1611. Now, what does happen is across this country, states can create their own laws that determine what those states do with their money. And so there are some states, for example, in New York, and what New York says is 8 USC 1611. This is also in my link tree. But so, for example, in New York, if you are an unauthorized immigrant and you are working in the country, you can purchase your Medicaid from the marketplace. It's called Healthy New York. But you're not getting it for free. You have to purchase it. Various states have their own individual laws. New York is one, Illinois is one, California is one, but they do not get federally funded benefits. They just pay into them. They just pay into Medicare. They just pay into Social Security. They just can't get it. Okay? So these are facts. Now, let me just be clear. If somebody comes to you and they say, yeah, well, how many of those children are non-white? My next question would be, so you believe that people should only eat or get health care based upon the color of their skin? Is that who I'm understanding you to be? They don't sign up to it, Felix. They gets taken out of their taxes. Seven Andre, I don't think that you heard what I just said. I know what they do and don't get, and they do not get federally funded benefits. So here's what I'm going to do, Mr. I work for DHS. Come on up to the panel, because I don't believe you. I don't believe, A, that you work for DHS, and B, that you will come to the panel. Because we will talk facts on facts on facts. I will pull up the fucking law and the data for you. Let's go. Where you at? Where you at, Mr. I work for the DHS? Come on with it. Come on, Lee. Oh, he works for DHS, but now I'm a loudmouth lesbian. Tell me you ain't getting none without telling me you ain't getting none. They love to throw that lesbian shit out. It ain't my fault you're a 40-year-old virgin. Hello, B. I don't know why they so worried about my vagina and what I do with it. Y'all do know y'all sound really creepy. Y'all sound really creepy. Like it's really weird. It's really weird that y'all come into my life and you always want to talk about what I do with my vagina. Like that's just weird. It's creepy. Ugh. It's really wild. And for the person who said, oh, I say be respectful, but I'm not being respectful. Listen, you call me names. I don't got to be respectful to you. Fuck you. If you call me names, I am not required to be respectful for you. You just crossed the line and I met your ass right there. It's not hard. Yeah, that's not required. No. Mm-mm. Nope. Yeah. Can I get you all, right, Sonny, right. Can I get you all to do me a favor? I'm only going to bring one person up on the panel right now. One. If you have magic beans and can assist, please do. Because this person lives between the river and the sea and has a family member with a significant medical condition that requires treatment. And it's a lot. Why can't I not? I don't see, I saw Raja a second ago. Cam, do you see him? Does anybody see Raja? Right, Marilyn. Miss me with it. I really thought I saw, and I can't tell. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. So, so his brother has a significant kidney stone and needs urgent medical treatment, you all. Urgent. And it's about 15 with 2 zeros. Okay. So if you want to go to my link tree, yeah, it's going to require surgery, Penny GF. If you want to go to my link tree, you can directly help Raja out there. Or if I can get him to come back in here, I'll bring him on the panel. And you can do magic beans. Okay. All right, Victoria, sounds great. This is my friend. Hello, Raja.
Hello, Dani. Hello. How are you, Dani?
I'm okay, friend. Keep Alec. Please. He'll say kois.
Alhamdulillah,
Kois. He's telling me he's okay. All right. So missed you. Yeah, alhamdulillah. I'm okay. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
All good. Yeah, missed you too. So appreciate you guys helping him out. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch gears for just a second.
I sent a message.
Yep, I know. Yep, hold on.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, he's going to check his messages. Okay. All right. So I want to do something. So yesterday, how many of you guys were not in my live yesterday? If you were not in my live yesterday, put a 1 in the chat for me. If you were not in here yesterday, put a 1 in the chat for me. Okay. So yesterday, let me also ask this. How many of you have ever been to one of my workshops? Appreciate you, Witch. How many of you guys have ever been to one of my workshops where we talk about how to have effective conversations with people of opposing views? So I do these workshops, and one of the things that I do at the end of the workshops is I will oftentimes role play with people about how to have these really challenging conversations. And so yesterday I did that live on here. And so what I did was yesterday I had people come up, and basically I pretended to be those people and I let them be the people that they try to talk to, right? So somebody was like, I don't know how to have a conversation with my cousin or my brother. Even Renee was like, every time I have a conversation with my brother and I say anything about Trump, thank you, blessed and grateful, he loses his damn mind and the conversation goes down. And so we did that. And so Michelle has asked, she's going to a meeting this evening. And Michelle has asked if she can role play with me now before she goes to this Republican meeting this afternoon and or this evening. And so that's why I went ahead and brought her up. So what's up, Michelle?
Okay, so
Oh, you're breaking up really bad.
I picked up my two. Oh, hold on. Hold on just a second. We're driving through a spot. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So 2 days ago, I picked my paperwork up to run for county commission in Marshall County, Tennessee. We have to have everything in by the 19th. I am the only person in my county who declared as a Democrat. I'm the only Democrat running for office in my county.
Got it.
Everybody else said if the Republican Party, in order to be on their ballot, have pulled a Republican ballot 3 out of 4 of the last primaries, and they charge you $250 to be endorsed by the Republican Party.
Right.
If you're not, then you have to claim independent. And then the people who we know are Democrats, none of them were willing to say, "Hey, I'm a Democrat." But I'm last year I got involved at the local level.
Yeah.
And I declared as the vice chair. So legally I have to support the Democratic Party, which I would have said I was a Democrat one way or the other.
Yeah.
But anyway, tonight there is a veteran-sponsored event at my old church of 30 years that I left
Tennessee,
20
y'all.
years ago.
Yeah.
And so I will be the only Democrat there. And basically this meeting will last however long you want to stand up there. Each candidate can stand and be peppered with every question imaginable. And as long as you're willing to keep answering them, then they'll keep throwing them at you. And considering I posted a video last night where I went to my city council meeting. And if you don't know, Lewisburg, Tennessee has roughly 10,000 people. Our whole county has maybe 30,000 people. And I was the only person that spoke at our local city council meeting. And I spoke about the fact that when I went to pull my papers to run for election, the election office in my county didn't show I was in the city limits. And I am, and I have been for 6 years, and I have not had a correct voter registration. So I went last night to tell them that my apartment complex was annexed, but also they started building 100 lots behind me, and there's 200 a mile from me. I used to be a commercial loan officer. What I did was I built subdivisions. I started with a farm, acreage, whatever. I built the roads, the water, the electric, and then I built the houses. But then when I became disabled, I could no longer work. So, but they allowed me to come up twice, and the second time, if you could have seen the looks on their faces, because I asked the question, what is the city of Lewisburg and the sheriff's department of Marshall County's policy when it comes to ICE and working with ICE? And I said, because I have a Hispanic daughter. She is not my daughter by blood. She is my daughter by choice, but she is nonetheless my child.
Right.
Her parents came here with 4 children. Jackie was born here, so she is an American citizen. Her parents were not American citizens. They did come here legally. They did the pathway to citizenship. If I'm not mistaken, to get all 4 of them legal status, it took 10 or 12 years for all of them to finally get naturalized.
Mhm.
So what I said to the city council was, our little town of Lewisburg, we have been protesting every Saturday for an hour on the square since January of 2025. I think the first one we missed was this ice storm that just hit.
Mhm.
So someone on Facebook asked me if I'm on the square and ICE comes to the square, will I comply with ICE? And I told the city council that my answer is no. My daughter is an American citizen. She has a First, Second, Fourth, Fifth Amendment right. And then I stopped myself and said, no, scratch that. Whether you're a citizen or an undocumented immigrant, you all have constitutional rights. And if they are not breaking the law, if the only thing an undocumented person is doing is filming ICE, that is their First Amendment right. If ICE tries to arrest them, I will put my white body in front of them. And I ended my 3 minutes with, so no, I won't comply. I assume they will arrest me. Hopefully they won't unalive me like in Minnesota. And the city council meeting went from 22 people watching online to 137.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
And now that video is on my TikTok. It's on my Facebook page because that's where all the people are, for the local. And I think my Facebook page, it's got like 5,000 views so far. And I basically had to dox myself last night because they won't allow you to speak until you give your address.
Yeah. So
That's great.
Well, so they used to do that in Tennessee when I was there. And I used to immediately correct and say, no, I reside in, and I would give the city and state. And I said, I withhold my address for safety reasons because of the threats. And I had received real threats, da, 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 da. And then what it does is it put them on the record for having to either say, no, you can't speak, or allowing me to speak one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Good to know. Good to know. Well, I didn't actually give my physical address. I just said the name of the apartments where I live. So.
Girl, same thing. But I got you. Okay,
But tonight is a republic. They'll be able to ask me any question they want. So I can be them and you can be me.
Okay. Yeah. You be them and I'll be you, and I will answer the questions the way that I would if I were the one running for office. Okay, go.
Okay.
Shoot.
So you want us to elect you as a Democrat, and you supported Biden and let him have 10 million illegal aliens across that border, and you want us to put you in government in our city?
Yes.
But how can you reconcile that they let these criminals, asylum people that are broken out of asylums, that are unalivers, rapists? How can you support them coming into our country illegally? And why do you care if all they're doing is taking the people who are here illegally and deporting them? You don't support the obeying laws?
And you're running for county commission, is that right, Michelle?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So as a county commissioner, Tennessee is very lucky because we are not a border state, right?
Right.
So Tennessee is not one of the states that is dramatically impacted by immigration law and its complexities, right? So as a county commissioner, my focus is on the health and well-being of the people in Marshall County. So I'm concerned about loss of insurance, loss of access to healthcare facilities, the maternal mortality rates, the infant mortality rates, and other things like that affect the people of this county. Tennessee is number 1 or number 2 in rural hospital closures and has been for the better part of the last decade, right? As a county commissioner, my focus is on those things that are actually impacting the people of Lewisburg rather than national issues that aren't here.
Well, who's going to pay for all this? You Democrats just want to give them all insurance and hand them all EBT cards with thousands of dollars on them, and you want us to pay for their housing. How are you going to get all that money?
So are you aware of Marshall County? I'm not aware of Marshall County or the state of Tennessee giving SNAP cards to unauthorized immigrants. I'm not aware of that happening in our county.
Well, my brother's wife's father said he saw it at the plant.
Yeah, well, and and here's the thing: you live here just like I live here. We hear everything second, third, and fourth mouth. What I know is that the Marshall County, the government of Marshall County, doesn't do that, and the state of Tennessee doesn't do that, right? So, as a county commissioner, the one thing that is important to me is to focus on the things that actually impact the people right here, and the things that I have facts and evidence on. So, what I would say is tell your mother, brother, sister's wife to bring me the evidence and the name of that person, and I will happily take that information to the county or to the mayor.
All right. Well, what about Marsha Blackburn and Andy Ogles? They want to pass this SAVE Act, and you Democrats just don't seem to want to do anything that abides by the law. Why do you care if we make sure that everybody votes, has a real ID, so that we know that they're a citizen and so that we have fair and free elections?
Yeah. So again, as a county commissioner, I don't get to vote on whether or not a SAVE Act is passed or not passed. I think that that elections should be fair. They should be safe. I believe that they are. I definitely haven't seen anything that it would indicate that Marshall County elections are in danger or at risk of any sort of fraud. And so again, that's my focus. My focus is Marshall County. My focus is Lewisburg. And so I think about the things that impact us, our school systems, our children, our ability to, afford our rent and do all of those different types of things. And I know that a lot of people want to talk about, national issues that people argue about. My focus is right here in my community. I love my community. I love my neighbors, and those are the people I'm focused on helping.
Well, I think probably one thing we would agree on here in Tennessee is in Marshall County, we don't have one single accredited private school. So why are we spending $1 billion to send some rich kids to the private school they were already going to instead of putting that money in our public schools? Now, my representative, Todd Warner, I'll give it to him. I didn't vote for him, but he stuck his neck out for his constituents, and he didn't vote for vouchers. But now Marsha Blackburn is running for governor, and she is dead set on expanding vouchers. What do I tell my constituents?
Yeah. So, I think that you have a fair point. And that's, again, so that is an issue that I'm very passionate about. I believe that children in Tennessee deserve to have a fully funded Department of Education that has the resources and the teachers needed to make sure that our students excel. And so I am with you on that. I think that, I'm not here to talk about the gubernatorial race or any of that. Obviously, that's something that I don't agree with Marsha Blackburn on. I don't agree with Governor Lee. My position has always been we've got to take care of our kids here in Marshall County, and that shouldn't be a good education should not only be allowed for people that have a certain amount of money in the bank account or their parents.
Well, Dani, I think the last question I have for you is something I couldn't believe my sister told me. And, I actually looked it up, and she was telling the truth. Apparently, if we expanded Medicaid in the state of Tennessee, it would bring 20,000 jobs immediately. We get $1 billion federally and $1.5 billion in employee wages.
Mm-hmm.
And it would also mean 250,000 adults in Tennessee would now be covered and be able to go to the doctor. Why are people saying this is a bad thing?
Well, I think because, Tennessee is a corporation, is a state that tends to lean towards corporations, right?
Right.
And, when corporations come in and they make big promises and things like that, they tend to favor the businesses. And so businesses understand that once you have Medicaid expansion, then those hospitals it actually does provide savings. So I'm glad that your sister-in-law told you that thing. It's a good thing. But there are people, very powerful, very rich people that want things to stay the same because it makes them a whole lot of money. right?
We're just making billionaires richer, and I don't understand that. There's this lady named Jerry Green, my sister was telling me about. She's running for governor, and her slogan is "Families over billionaires," and I like that about her.
Yeah, I mean, and it should be. It should be families over billionaires. It should be communities over centimillionaires. And that's why, like, I understand that there's a lot of talk and topics right now about these other national issues, and they do matter, right? They just aren't central to right here in Marshall County and to Lewisburg. And so go ahead.
I'll be honest with you today, and this is completely true. I'm not role playing any of this. This is all true. So I didn't want y'all to think this was the role play part. I woke up this morning and I had double vision and I couldn't read anything far off. 30 years ago, I had a detached retina in my left eye, and I have had very little vision in that eye. So my other eye has always compensated. And when I couldn't see out of it at all, and normally it's 20/20, my doctor had me come in immediately. We knew I had a cataract, but he was hesitant to do surgery because clearly my right eye is my only good eye. However, he thought I would be able to wait 5-6 years, and now they're saying I need it within the next month. And I don't have insurance in Tennessee because Medicaid has not been expanded. And I do have charity care through Vanderbilt. So the doctor I see is literally, I've been with this doctor for 30 years. I joked with him today to say that I've almost been with him longer than he's been married to his wife. But if Vanderbilt won't help me with my charity care, I have to come up with $6,000. And I've been trying to raise money for the last 2 years because I need heart tests and stomach tests, and I haven't been able to do it. And you all helped me not long ago, and I've never gotten on the live to say thank you. I've been in the Discord to say thank you. I've never, ever in my life experienced people that are as generous as the Danican community. And I have told my children, my best friend, anybody that will listen, that they can make fun of TikTok and being online or whatever. But this community donated more money to me in 2 days than I was able to raise in almost a year. And in that year, not one family member donated money. Not one person that I used to go to church with donated money. And it's all because I'm outspoken and I'm going to speak my mind and not take any of their crap about Trump or Biden or anybody else.
Yeah, I love that. And I love this community. One of the other things, Michelle, that I'll just give you that might be helpful.
The thing tonight?
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one other thing is I would tell is that, Tennessee has 95 counties, right? Marshall County is in the bottom half of Tennessee in child well-being. We rank 57th out of 95 counties for our child well-being. Our strongest area is economic well-being. Wow. And it's crazy. Yep. It is crazy to me that we rank great in economic well-being, but we are in the bottom half for child well-being.
For a child, yeah.
Yep. And so the other thing that I would say is, and one of our biggest indicators for Marshall County, and one of the things that I really want to focus on, healthcare is important to me, is that we have a higher percentage of babies who are born at very low birth weight, right? Very low, and that leads to problems. We rank 89th out of 95 counties.
Wow.
And so these are areas of improvement. These are opportunities that we have where we can make some gains along with our youth crime percentages. Michelle, I'm going to put it in there.
Send me a link in the Discord.
I got a whole document for you.
Because I'm in the car at the moment, and I was was like, I can't write it down now.
I got a whole document for you. I'm throwing it in the link tree for you.
Okay.
So, and this is from the state of Tennessee's website, just so you know.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to tell everybody it starts tonight at 6:30 Central, and I'm gonna go live on my TikTok account. And so, if y'all want to watch, y'all are more than welcome to.
Love that. So let me. I'm gonna tag you, Michelle. Where are you?
J. Michelle Head.
Yep, I got you. So here
and
is
somebody in the comments was asking about what do I think asylum seekers are. Asylum seekers are people that come to the border and they declare that they are being persecuted in another country and they need safety. I very much know that they are not empty in mental institutions to allow them to come into our country.
Yeah, I think they didn't realize we were role playing.
I was only role playing, guys. If you watch my videos, you'll see that I don't believe any of that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I hope that was helpful. And so one of the things, in case you picked up what I'm doing is every time that you try to take, I'm bringing it back
to county.
I'm bringing it back to the county. I'm bringing it back to the local level. I'm bringing it back to the things that actually matter to them. Right. So, so like your severe housing cost burden, we rank 50th. We rank 50th in the state. Okay.
Yep.
For your, and this is another big one, education is huge. So in your reading proficiency, we rank 58th. In math proficiency, we rank 43rd in your county. And graduating high school on time, I mean, it's good, but we're doing worse. Like we used to be 14th. Marshall County used to be 14th. They're now ranked 49th because they went from 97% of their youth graduating on time to 93.7% graduating on time.
Oh my word.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, and probably this has to do with children who are chronically absent. That number increased from 14.7% to 19.2%. So you went from being ranked 29th in the state to 57th in the state.
Okay, great. This is good. Numbers are going to be great. Their heads are going to explode.
Yeah, it's a whole. And so, so I gave you the document. I would look for anything where you guys are ranked 50th or below, because that means you're going to be in the bottom half. And then I would continue to focus on right? So healthcare, housing, that severe housing cost burden.
Right.
So
I can
education.
talk about that.
Yep. And so babies born at a low birth weight is your healthcare, right?
Right.
Your education is your proficiency and graduating on time. Your housing is going to be the severe cost of housing. And then economically is the one thing. And so the question becomes, and this is one of the things as a county commissioner, I'm role playing again. This is one of the things as a county commissioner this is one of the things as a county commissioner that I really want to dig into is if we are doing so well economically as a county, why is it not correlating to our children in their education, in their birth weights? Why isn't that economic well-being translating into our children? Why is our youth crime rate going up? Why are our children not graduating on time? Why are our babies being born with very low birth weights? And those are the things that as a county commissioner, I'm dedicated to. And I believe that those things aren't Republican or Democratic. I think those things are Marshall County.
Well, and last night at the city council, I made certain, I think I posted this video, I made certain to say, I've been a Democrat for 20 years, and it was 20 years ago that I began my banking career. So I've worked with city council members, I've worked with county commissioners, I've worked with every single builder in our county. And, so I can really talk about real estate. That's just second nature for me. So
lovely. So
I'm excited.
There you go. So I hope that helped.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And y'all are the first people I'm really telling about my eyes. So
I love
y'all
that.
know before my kids do.
Yeah. So go get those suckers checked out and do what you got to do. Okay.
That's right.
All right.
I will. Well, thank you, Dani. I appreciate all of y'all so much. And I'll see you at 6:30.
You're welcome, Michelle. All right. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so let me ask you all this question. Was that helpful for you all to hear me role play with her, how she would answer questions from a majority Republican room? Because this is the thing, right? People want to argue about the trigger issues and the trigger words, but we're going to focus on the things that actually matter to people on a granular level. It tickles me when people in Tennessee want to argue about immigration. You ain't nowhere near nobody's damn border, right? Yeah, you bring it local, right? And you make it be about the issues that actually impact people. If I bring up very low birth weight babies, if I bring up the fact that our children are not graduating on time and we've actually lost that percentage, you know what I mean? That's a big deal. Especially, and they are they by Tennessee standards, they're pretty okay for a small county. 35,000 people live in that county, and the median income is almost $65,000. In Tennessee, that's a good median income for a population of 35,000. Okay, like in Kingsport, the population is around 57,000, and the median income is around 44, 46,000. And so this is a big deal. The question does become, if we are an economically well-off county, why is that not translating into our housing and into our education and into our healthcare as it should? Right? So bringing them back to those issues and to the things that actually matter, right? And so I can 100% say, hey, this is the focus, and yeah, these are other issues, and I understand that people are all concerned, but can we talk about the things that actually affect Marshall County? Because while we're busy looking at everything that's going on in other states and around the world, we are missing opportunities, and we may not be aware of the fact that we are starting to fall behind as our own county, and that's important, right? So, is there anybody else that wants to role play like a talking point, or to hear me answer questions like what Michelle was doing? Anybody? Oh, appreciate you, Scotty, for taking care of my Raja. Appreciate that. Like I said, his brother needs he has a very, very large kidney stone and needs an urgent surgery. So anybody else? I'm just checking. Yeah, Rohan, we abandoned ship. Yeah, we abandoned ship when it came to that. Okay. And so let me just go ahead and address something. So let me be clear about the person in the chat who's talking about 600 human traffickers arrested in the state of California in January, and that there's crickets. Well, no, listen, those types of things happen on a state level all the time. So this is something that's been called, this is, by the way, Dozier, I believe, is who brought this up. This is an annual operation that occurs. So that's the first thing that should be noted, is this is not something that is new or specific to the Trump administration only. This is an annual operation called Operation Reclaim and Rebuild, which is a statewide California crackdown on human trafficking. The 2026 edition took place between January 25th and 31st, and it resulted in hundreds of arrests and rescues. Okay, so this is a statewide operation. It was not just a federal operation. This was not a Trump operation. This is an operation that has been happening every year for 12 years. Okay, so if we are being honest and we're not being disingenuous and we're not trying to be partisan, then what we would say is that over the course of 12 years, that's going to be at least 3 different administrations, 4, right? 4 different administrations over the course of 12 years, right? So 12 years from now takes us back to Obama. So we've had Obama and we've had Trump and we've had Biden. So over the course of 2 Democratic and now 2 Republican administrations, we have seen a successful operation that is statewide, that is local, state, and federal officials joining in for an operation that has been happening for 12 years. So when you're going to talk about something, then you have to make sure that you are presenting it accurately and not in a partisan manner. This isn't a Democratic win. This isn't a Republican win. This is a fucking win for human beings in the state of California. And that's that. So any other questions, Dozier, about that? Any other questions, Dozier? Just want to know. Let me make sure my door is unlocked for Bella, y'all. Hold on one second. All right. Holy jeez, holy jeez, holy jeez. All right. I'm back. Yeah, so folks, listen. I hope that the time that we share on this app is beneficial to you. And right, to at least thank me for the info, bro. Yeah, so like Dozier is this account that comes in my live often and will say things. And so the claim was 600 human traffickers arrested, 160 people saved, just crickets. Trying to make it sound like that was a Trump administration win that nobody was giving him credit for. But the truth of the matter is that it is a statewide operation that has been happening for 12 years. And that it goes across state, local, state, and federal levels in order to make that happen. And so why someone would want to take human trafficking and try to make it a partisan issue is beyond me. Why would you want to take something that is beneficial, that is a good, that is a win for everybody, and make it seem like it was a partisan issue when it is not? All right. Hey, sugar butt. What's that? Was that at the front door?
What?
That. What's all that? Yeah. Mom gave them to you to give to me. Praise him. Love that. Okay. So, I just want to be clear about that, folks. Like if this administration were doing something that was astoundingly great, I've got no problem giving credit where credit is due, right? So I'm going to give you an example. Did you know that the DOJ just came after a couple of schmutzy YT supremacist dudes in Tennessee? Appreciate you, Farah. Did you all know that? They arrested them. They're prosecuting them. The whole thing. They are. That's a great thing. That's a great thing. Got no problem with that. That doesn't discount, though, the fact that you are violating people's constitutional rights with illegal search and seizures. It doesn't negate the fact that you are violating people's constitutional rights to due process, that you are illegally detaining people and illegally deporting people. It doesn't change the fact that literally the assistant attorney general in the DOJ told immigration attorneys to disobey a federal judge's order. On what, Farah? The one that I just talked about? Which one, Farah? Yeah. Yeah, there's a great article on it. So the one that I'm reading about is from February 3rd. And Los Angeles authorities announced hundreds of statewide arrests during human trafficking operation. Oh, the one in Tennessee? I got you. Hold on. Ooh. So here they are. So Let me see if I can give you their names real quick. Yeah, so Neo Schmatzy is busted as part of a plot to create a paramilitary team to take out quote unquote high value targets, according to the FBI. This is from January the 28th of this year. And it says the criminal complaint links Aiden Daniel Chevas and Andrew Cole Neri to Neo Schmatzy associated with Tennessee Group. So 2 YT supremacists, both with connections to a Tennessee-based Neo Schmatzy network, now face federal charges accused of attempting to create a paramilitary unit capable of taking out high-value targets. They are being held in a separate northern Alabama jails after being arrested on January the 20th by the FBI. Following a year-long undercover investigation, both men were charged with conspiracy to traffic illegal firearms, including fully automatic machine guns with obliterated serial numbers. Dear God in heaven. Yeah, so there you go. So Farah, News Channel 5 Nashville is Phil Williams is a really great Phil Williams is a really great investigative reporter for Nashville, coming out of News Channel 5 in Nashville. And so he wrote the article on that group. Hey guys. Salam Balal, Salam Muhammad OS. Yeah, he has a whole series on hate groups. Yeah, he's really fantastic. He does I wish, Rachel, that he would do one on Ballad, but I don't think that he will. But I wish that he had. It doesn't, y'all, I just tried to scratch my back. And from where I did my upper body workout yesterday, my arm said, bitch, please. I don't know if y'all saw me went to scratch my head and my arm paused halfway up. I literally was like, trying to scratch my shoulder blade. My arm said, girl, no. Oh, that's okay though. That's that. I'm just saying. Shoot, Coco, today was leg day. Don't ask me what I'm going to be like later. I really don't know. Yeah, no, Tara, this is called I am finally back in the gym moment. And I am about that life. And I used to be in and be really, really, really fit. And so I'm back on that journey. And look here, my arm said, what you doing? You want me to do what? You want me to reach where? So yeah. Okay, I want to level up for just a second, okay? So for those of you guys that are subscribed directly through me, okay? I have to reconcile that data so that I can make sure everybody is in their appropriate group and that you have your login to the materials that are relevant to you. So I have a couple of different coaching programs, and depending upon your level of subscription determines what all you do and don't have access to. And so I need to clean that up. Having said that, this is really important. If there is somebody that was subscribed directly through me and you are no longer able to do so for financial reasons, and you think that's going to be temporary or there are extenuating circumstances or whatever, please reach out to me or one of my mods. And that way I can figure out and see if there might be a way for us to help out and accommodate you and bridge the gap. Okay. Oof. Not me about to drop shit. Yes. Me about to drop shit. So let me see. Okay, so just so that you guys don't be talking about my typing either, because I know it's a lot. Raja, you saw WhatsApp? Yeah, he did. Okay, cool. All right. So, listen, the kids have physical therapy today. And while I am willing to cancel my therapy to stay on with you guys, I am not willing to cancel their physical therapy. Okay. Because I got to go take care of my baby. So grandbabies have physical therapy. I've got to make sure that they get taken care of, pick up Dominic's classes and all of that. So I'm going to appreciate it, Matt. I'm going to close the live for today. No worries, Raja. Before I do that, let me say this to you guys. If you want to watch the Roger Stone documentary, please make sure that you go to my link tree and that you register for it. You will be emailed a link on Friday at 7 p.m. You will be emailed a link to view the documentary Friday on the 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you do not register, you will not get a link to view it, right? Love you too, Brandy. Okay. Second, March 8th, it is on and popping. If you are interested in the work and what we are doing to ensure that we stop the madness that we are currently in, and course correct the direction of this country, not just for right now, but for always. You want to be able to register for that. It will be a private Google Meet March 8th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are on TikTok, please make sure that you go back up here and click this heart and claim all of your points for the day before they expire. I appreciate that. Remember, folks, that we have people between the river and the sea. Those people that live between the river and the sea desperately need our help and our eyes and our attention. And I have an entire section in my link tree where you can go to that link tree and you can support them directly. And whether it's 5, 10, 15, 100, whatever you got, it all helps. And when you do it directly, they don't lose a portion of it like they do here on TikTok. Okay. So that part is incredibly important. I'm just going to give you kind of some generality just so that you know. When you go in there and you see the links, Mohammed OS has newborn twins. They are a little more than a month old. And he has a toddler as well. Raja has 3 kids, and his brother right now has very, very large. I've seen the doctor's information. He has a very large kidney stone and has to have an emergency procedure to have it removed. It's going to cost like $1,500. Holy shit! And so, you know, whatever we can do to help make that happen is great. There are several other people. So Bilal is in there. Amal is in there. The brothers is in there. Abu Sarraj is in there. Aziz is in there. A lot of those individuals, they have links. Those links are in my link tree. And that is the most direct way to support them. And to get them, and for them to get the most bang for their buck. Okay. That's the best way. Another way is through TikTok and the Magic Beans. Magic Beans help on TikTok because they can take them, immediately convert them to crypto, and then be able to spend them for their daily needs. So whether that's baby formula, food, clothes, whatever it is that they need, things to fix their tents, all of that happens. Okay. And so those are the ways to assist. At 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Abu Sarraj normally goes live. He has other folks that live in Gaza that are on his panel. And if you want to be able to assist them, that is a great way for you to do that. You're welcome, Raja and Tegelbi. Yeah, sepsis is a concern with us. Here's the thing. I'm just going to be real direct. I almost never, ever, ever, Raja never messages me and asks me directly for help. And I mean, ever. It's just not something that he does. And I don't believe that he would have done it now if it was for him. He's doing it because it's his brother. And so it's an urgent need. It's an immediate need. And so that's why I wanted to bring him up to the panel, and then also remind you all of how to go directly to my link tree and do something directly. Okay. When I say, I'm literally looking at the scans, I'm looking at the imaging sent to me right now, you know? So, you know, yeah, very painful and very dangerous. So yes. Oh, come on, girl. Yeah. Come on. Hold on. You had a good day? Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah. Say hi to Raja. Here, come here. Say hi, Raja.
Family. Hi. Love you so much.
Say love you, love you. All right, you ready? Go get your snack. Because you got physical therapy, girl.
Say hala hala.
Yeah, he said say hala hala. So when you say hala hala hala, that's like saying yo 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 Raja. It's like a really friendly greeting. It means like, you know when you're excited to see your friends, you're like, hey girl, hey. You don't really do that, but if you did do that, right? That's what it means. So you just say hala hala hala. That's what it means. Yeah, baby.
Hala hala. Love you so much.
Love you too, Raja. So yeah, folks, so I appreciate you all every day. I want us to grow this community. Hear me when I say this. You could spend your time anywhere, and I know that. I am extremely grateful that you choose to spend it here. And what I desire to do is to grow this community in such a way that we become a force to be reckoned with in terms of what we accomplish moving forward. Okay. I really want us to be about this life and about what we create, and about how we want our society to function when it comes to our kiddos and to our families and to our loved ones. And I think that we can do that. Okay. Right. We need a movement. 100%. Okay. All right. I'm going to go so I can take care of these youngins. All I've had to eat are them crackers y'all saw me snack on. And so I'm going to go take care of them. I'm going to take them. Love you too, Irvet. I'm going to take them to get they have physical therapy. And then I will see you all tomorrow. Okay. Peace out. Love you. Mean it. Bye.